New York Knicks did it, y'all. New York Knicks did it. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now I know people gotta like, come into the chat. But we live. We live right now. Couldn't do it last night. It was too lit. I'm about to put myself on camera, right? But no, it was too lit yesterday or no, last night, right? Around the whole city. So I was supposed to go live with you guys last night after they won, but it was just hectic. A lot of people, the whole city was lit. They was very, 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 very happy. People crying and like things of that nature. No, not me. I ain't say I was crying, but you know, people was crying. It was wild last night. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you guys saw the footage that was going on around Madison Square Garden, right? And also, let me say something too, right? Let me kick it off. I have to kick it off by saying this, right? For those that's not from New York, right? If, anyone that's gonna watch this playback, anybody that's gonna that's watching it live or whatever, right? Anybody that's don't think that that's how New York Knicks fans act, and I'm talking about or New York supporters, you know, act. And what I'm talking about is the stupid crap that you see that these YNs is doing. You know, fighting, destroying cars, destroying property, things of that nature. I'm gonna keep it 100. Those are not New York Knicks fans. A lot of them don't even know nothing about the New York Knicks. To be honest with you, I, let's just keep it real. They're just outside. They got their jerseys, but that doesn't mean that those are fans for real. So I had to let it be known. That's not how New Yorkers act. Well, they're from New York, but the thing is, those are not real fans. You can pay attention to them. You can even look at them and tell. Now they're not fans. Because they wasn't there. Now you guys know I'm on the dark side when it comes to sports, right? They didn't they didn't take that walk back then in '94 with the disappointment in Game 7 with Houston Rockets and New York Knicks, right? They wasn't around when it was New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs Part 1 in 1999. You see, they don't know about that. And matter of fact, forget about that. They don't know about when all the times the New York Knicks played in the Eastern Conference Championship, right? And couldn't make it to the finals. Or maybe the second round, and they had to face the Pacers or whatnot. They didn't take that walk. So let's just keep it. Let's one thing clear. Those are not real fans. Okay, they're just outside wanting to start some trouble, get a name from for themselves, go viral and things like that. Those are not real fans. So I want you guys to know that's not how real New Yorkers act. I had to let that be known. Now, good morning to everybody that's in the chat. All my people that's in the chat, shout out to every single one of y'all. I'm glad y'all here. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you here with me. Yeah, Dale. I know we some goats. I mean, you know, sometimes you gotta pat yourself on the back, Dale. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody else too. Like this is gonna be an interesting live. I don't want to waste your time. I want to get straight to it and things like that. But I do want to talk about my man Low in the building. Low in the building. I'm gonna get to my shout outs and shit like that. Um but yeah, so I want to say like uh, a lot of those are not New York fans. Those because New York. Here's the thing: a lot of real New Yorkers don't do stuff like that. Real New Yorkers don't do stuff like that. They're not going somewhere else starting trouble because they know. Listen, I'm not home. You know what I mean? Just like people that's not from New York coming to New York. Only thing about it is, okay, in the South and everywhere else, they got weapons that could be legal, right? The only thing I can say about New York is honestly, Well, New Yorkers don't even really care about straps being legal or not. New York is good for. They don't really care about that stuff. They travel. They find ways. If they're not on a plane, they find ways to travel with their things. So they don't really care about that type of stuff. But the thing is, those fans, those people that was doing all that stuff, see, they can't go nowhere else in the South or Midwest, and they can't go anywhere else doing that type of stuff. They cannot do that. They can't do that type of stuff. People do not play around. Real New Yorkers already know that. So I just want you guys to know those are not New York fans, because I think a lot of people that's not from here was confused by, oh, them New York fans. New York fans is very rowdy, but not like that. And I'm trying to tell you, we've had Yankee parades when Yankees win championships and things like that. They don't act like that for real. Those are those YNs that trying to make a name from. They don't even know nothing about basketball, to be honest with you. They don't know. You can just tell they don't know nothing about basketball, right? Um, right. So no, no. Straight to the point. San Antonio Spurs, New York Knicks, part two, and basically it was the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like I said in my last live. Shout out to the NFL. Shout out to the NBA. They did the same exact thing, and what I mean by that is they gave us rematches, right? Seahawks, Patriots, you know, Spurs, Knicks, and everybody thought it was going to be the same outcome as the first one, and it turned out to be the very opposite. With the when it came to the NFL did what was supposed to be done the first time, right? Which was the Seahawks winning the game and Marshawn Lynch, a running back, right, getting the Super Bowl MVP, right? So what happens was the NFL fixed that and corrected that, right? And this time the Seahawks do win, and Kenneth Walker, the third running back, gets the MVP. The New York Knicks and Spurs win 4-1, right? So everybody's thinking it's going to be the same thing, but they'll switch it around, and the NBA says, no, 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 this is how it's supposed to be done. New York Knicks winning 4, the Spurs winning 1, right? So, it's exactly how I thought. I did say 4-2 or 4-1, right? Um, to be honest, to me, there was no doubt that I didn't feel like the New York Knicks was going to lose. There was no chance that the Knicks was going to lose because, like I always say, I pay attention to certain things. When things is overly hyped, too much, like overly hyped, I know it could be a feel good story, but when something is too overly hyped and then you still have sports betting, which is a big deal, I don't like to sound like a broken record, y'all. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I have to say it time after time after time. Sports books have partnerships with the leagues. The league cannot the leagues cannot promote something so heavy to the point where everybody can take advantage of it. The sports books can lose money that way. They're not The whole point is to make money. So, what do? Bet and bait, like I said from the start, right? So yo, if this is OKC and the Knicks, I'm taking OKC. Right? I've been said that. That's why when it came to the conference finals, if it's OKC and the Knicks, I'm taking OKC. If it's the Knicks versus the Spurs, there's no chance in hell. I don't think the Spurs is gonna win. Just take the Knicks. The whole Wemby talk, it was bait, right? And there's a couple of things I do want to talk about with Wemby, as far as like, I don't think it's gonna be looking good for him. I know this was his ritual that everybody, everybody was saying. LeBron had to go through things. Jordan had to go through things. You name it. A lot of people had to go through things. Shaq had to go through things. He had to get 4-0'd by Akeem Olajuwon in the Houston Rockets. You know what I'm saying? Kobe Bryant really didn't have to go through nothing really, because he came. It was smooth for him. He got to win his first championship, right? So Kobe Bryant, his things, the bad things happened later on for him. You know what I'm saying? So if you really think about it, like when it comes to certain players, right? just to name a few. I don't want to go on a whole tangent about a whole bunch of players, but the whole thing was I don't think Wemby was gonna have a smooth sailing that quick because remember what I told you guys. I said, okay, if he does win now, what's next? What's next? Like what's next for him? Is he just gonna win every year now? Because now the NBA is forced to make him win every year now. Because if not, all of that shit that you putting on him is gonna die down quick. That's not what you actually want. So that's what I saw. Straight up and down. Like this is not gonna work. They can't have him win. Well, at least not yet. But then um a couple of other reasons now I could say it. How I don't understand how no one really didn't notice this. Um, you know how people say that Wemby's gonna be the face. The damn media is pushing that like crazy. It's that damn media, right? Do you know one reason why I knew the Spurs were not gonna win the NBA championship, right? So since we're going so hard on America 250, right? Fine, big deal, America 250. Do you know Wemby did not really honor the flag every time the anthem was played each game?
Are you fucking serious?
I think a lot of people forgot that Joseph, the Sixers is not winning. Um, I think a lot of people it went over their heads about Wemby, right? He did not honor the national anthem the whole time. Not one game. And I'm surprised nobody spoke about that. You know what's so crazy? Not even the media spoke about that. Right? So when I saw that, I said, dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Yeah, yeah. The whole team, the whole Spurs did it. But the thing was, once again, the focus is going to be on who's the leader, because the guy who gets all the praise has to get all the blame when some. Because remember, everybody was saying Wemby was the leader. So if you the leader, bro, right, you have to lead by example. You have to honor that flag because once again, if the NBA is pushing you to be the face and the NBA is an American sport. It's basketball, but it's placed in America. It's red, white, and blue. The logo is red, white, and blue. They cannot push you as the face, but you're playing in an American league and you can't honor the flag. There's no way they're gonna let anybody be the face if you can't do that. That was one dead giveaway. Especially I saw it in game one. I said, that's already looking fishy. Right off of the top. That's not a good look. That's not a good look at all. Especially when they're celebrating New York. I mean celebrating New York. They're celebrating this country 250. See, I never look at the game. I try to look at everything that surrounds the game. When I saw that, nah, it's not gonna look good for Wemby. This is not really looking good. And then also, like I said in the last live, you know, another reason why there was no chance that the Spurs was gonna win was you can't keep dropping leads like that. You have lead after lead after lead. Basically, you played on top every single game, right? But you lost 4 games. It went to 5 games and you lost 4 games, but you was in the lead every single game. So you're blowing leads. Wemby was the cause of 2 games, I would say, because I know Fox did a sell job, right? Amazing sell job by Fox, right? But before Fox got to do that sell job, a lot of people forgot that Wemby missed 2 free throws. He missed 2 free throws because any other player, they would have got punished for that. Wemby missed 2 free throws. Oh, but prior to that, the stupid pass he did, passed it, right? Who was he passing it to? Was it Castle? Yeah, he was passing it, right? And the man wasn't even looking. That's another dead giveaway. That's another sell job. So I said, in what universe are they going to let the San Antonio Spurs raise a trophy when you choking like that. Because I've seen 3-1. We saw what happened with the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers, but you got to realize, right, when the Cleveland Cavaliers, when the Golden State Warriors blew it against the Cleveland Cavaliers, nobody really played how the San Antonio Spurs played, though. Look how they played. They really gave the game away all the way. I said, I don't see how they can win at any capacity at all. There was no chance it was going to be a comeback. No chance. He missed free throws too again yesterday. See, there you go. And then he was kind of trash in the especially in the fourth quarter. Thank you for that. Shout out to my chat. So you see what I'm saying? Like when you look at things like that, that's why I love in play, right? It's like, come on, yes, and there you go. I'm gonna tap into that too. Yeah, we gonna talk about it. Here's another thing too. As I said too, I was telling people this. You got the World Cup coming, right? You got the World Cup coming, and you also have the NBA Finals. This game has to be a wrap. The World Cup being here in New York, and then the Knicks coming back for a game 6. I don't see that happening. I don't see the city. I don't see the city letting that happen. Right? Let me break it down real quick. You got for those that don't know, right? Because somebody on Twitter was going back and forth like that doesn't matter. I said yes, it does. You have to peep the location, right? MetLife Stadium is in Jersey, but it's only 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes away. Right? So let's just say 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes away from actual New York City, right? So just peep it. Hear me out. Just hear me out. What's the tunnel there? That's the Holland Tunnel. I'm sorry, not the Holland Tunnel. The Lincoln Tunnel. The Lincoln Tunnel is the tunnel that connects you from New Jersey to New York, both ways, in and out, in and out. The massive traffic. Matter of fact, there was traffic yesterday, and it just started, right? The massive traffic that will be happening all on let's say the west side, 8th Avenue, 9th Avenue, 10th Avenue, 11th Avenue, all right? Right? 42nd Street Port Authority, all the buses going in, right? And then you had that's to get to the World Cup. Now you also have Madison Square Garden, which is on 34th Street. So you got 34th Street. It's only 8 blocks away. Remember that number 8 too. I'm getting somewhere with all this. It's only 8 blocks away. Literally, it's not like it's on the east side of Madison Square Garden is in between, it's on 33rd Street between 7th and 8th. Right? That's too much traffic. Do you really think that the city was going to let the World Cup and the NBA Finals happen? And let the New York Knicks come back to Madison Square Garden because there was games scheduled to be in MetLife on the 16th, right? I don't know, people in the chat, y'all can correct me if I'm right or wrong. That wouldn't, and I tried to tell people that I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all. That if you live there or you came here, you would know that's hectic. That will be a hectic job. You know what? NBA, let's get rid of this and then let's go into the World Cup right after. So now the focus is on the World Cup, right? And then you got people, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all that's watching and everybody that's also in the chat, y'all come from different races and all that. The World Cup is a big deal. It just is what it is. It's a big deal. That will be the main focus. They're not going to extend this to 7 because even if the games wasn't in Madison Square Garden, they're still going to have watch parties out here in New York. You already see, I just spoke, you already see what the fake fans is doing, all the riots and everything that they're doing. Just imagine if the New York Knicks was to lose. Just imagine if the Knicks was to lose. Scott Foster being the bait. You know what's so crazy? I'm more for that whole Scott Foster shit. Ever since the whole thing with Scott Foster like came to light, right? And then people started talking about it, like sports books started talking about it. I said I'm not even worried about that whole shit no more. Cause that is bait. They're gonna have him as the extender. Nah, I don't know. What people didn't catch about Scott Foster is what is the number that I'm saying? What is the one of the numbers I'm saying that sports is using this year? Not just the NBA, but sports in general. I told you during football season of last year of what the new number's going to be, number 11, right? I said number 11, right? Do you know Scott Foster was 10 and 0 with the Knicks? And if all he had to do was close this game out and it would have been 11 and 0? Yeah, 14 last year, right? Well, no, 14 for the last 2 years. No, I'm sorry, Lo. Actually, 14 is still going on too. Yes. But what the new number, one of the new numbers that they was gonna focus on this year was 11, right? Oh, Jalen Brunson, number 11 too, wins the NBA Finals. Look at that, right? Scott Foster was 10 and 0 with the Knicks. It was I forgot against the spread or something like 10 and 0 with the Knicks. Soon as I saw that, I said he about to be 11 and 0. It's about to be over. It was a wrap. So everybody's just looking at him being an extender, but they wasn't looking at the stats with him in the New York Knicks. It was 10 and 0. Closeout games or against the spread, some shit like that. I said, oh, dead giveaway. The New York Knicks is going to win this game. Now, I'll say this. I will admit this. I did not think the game was going to go in the fashion that it did at all. Because if that was the case, I would have waited for for the Knicks to be down by 30 or 40 points, and I would have took them. I think they was down by 16. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't take that. Because I already had them to win anyway, so I was letting it ride out. I was like, I'm already good. But I didn't think the game was going to end up like this because, like I said, all that playing from behind can catch up to them. So I just stood out. They did another. Once I saw that they started to creep up, then I definitely said New York Knicks is going to win this game, especially with the fact that as I'm on my way to my block, right? So I'm driving on the BQE. I'm just looking at the New York skyline as I'm driving, and I kept seeing so much orange and blue lit up in all the main buildings. Now I know New York does that anyway, but it was just something about it. I said, I don't see the New York Knicks losing tonight. It's something about this shit. They're going to win. And sure enough, they won. Right? Right now, 12 is still good. 12. Scrub says 10 and 0 against the spread before last night. Well, there you go. See, 10 and 0, 10 and 0 against the spread. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Now, we do have to talk about why the New York Knicks won the championship, right? Now, I know Wemby is one of the guys that they're pushing. However you feel, if he's going to be the face, if you don't feel he's going to be the face, whatever. But to have Wemby in the finals, I guess it was a good sell, right? So you put him in the finals. But I had to tell people this was not about Wemby. This was not about Wemby. This was about the New York Knicks. Now, does anybody remember that was around? Anybody remember what I spoke about 2 years ago? This was around when the Knicks and the Pacers, the first time with the New York Knicks and the Pacers 2 years ago. Not the one from last year, but the other one, the Eastern semi, right? When I had that conversation, what did I say about the New York Knicks? What was happening with the New York Knicks? If anybody remembers. I just want to know if anybody remembers what was going on with the New York Knicks. Well, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste time. Now, let's get straight to it. You see this right here? So you're looking at the thumbnail, right? Yes, the MSG thing. Absolutely. Right? People, New York Knicks. No, not New York Knicks. The city, the lawmakers. The city and the lawmakers, guess what was going to happen? The city and the lawmakers was putting a plan in to move Madison Square Garden.
Are you fucking serious?
Do you know how crazy that would be if they was to move Madison Square Garden from where it is? That's a big deal. And the reason why Penn Station. Anybody knows if you travel, Penn Station is one of the main biggest hubs, one of the main biggest hubs in this country when it comes to traveling. Now, it's not planes, but it's trains, right? Amtrak, blah, blah, blah. Like Penn Station is very big, and New York is the final destination. I'm sorry, y'all. New York is the final destination or the first destination, however you look at it, right? Very, very, very big deal. Penn Station is worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. The country can get messed up if Penn Station gets destroyed in any way. A lot of people didn't realize that. A lot of people didn't realize that, right? Madison Square Garden, right? Penn Station is basically under Madison Square Garden, right? It's under Madison Square Garden. So if they're gonna refix up Penn Station, guess what they're gonna have to do? Exactly. Shout out to y'all. It's literally under Madison Square Garden. So if they fix up Penn Station, guess what they have to do? They have to get rid of Madison Square Garden.
Are you fucking serious?
Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? As you can see right here on the thumbnail, it has 5 plus 3 equals 8. I find it funny that game 4, OG Anunoby happened to be the savior of the Knicks that particular game in Madison Square Garden. See, I see why it wasn't done yesterday, but in Madison Square Garden, not game 3, but game 4, number 8, Anunoby. So I break it down, the Knicks winning 5, right? As the 3 seed. Now it's number 8. Right? Now, but be fire, why is 8 so important? 8 ain't nothing, it's just a number. I always told you 8 is a wild card. You have to be careful, right? So, I mean, we can just get straight to it. Right? Let's get straight to it.
It's a big story because we are
Let's
about to
go.
see some big changes at New York Penn Station. The Trump administration and Amtrak have come up with $8 billion, a plan to overhaul the station.
So while
Did anybody hear that? Did anybody hear that? Or should I go again? Should I press it? Should I press play again? Y'all heard that number. Oh, let's do it again.
Changes at New York Penn Station. The Trump administration and Amtrak have come up with $8 billion, a plan to overhaul the station.
So while Madison Square Garden will stay, a lot of other things will not. There will be a new grand entrance, new concourses, new shops, and it's going to have more rail capacity.
Oh, and by the way, too, yeah, we cooking. And by the way, too, it's going to be a new grand entrance. And guess where the new grand entrance is going to be, though? Right? Because Penn Station has an entrance on 7th, but they also have it on 8th, though. Right? But guess where they making the grand entrance look way more appealing? Not the 7th Avenue one, even though they're going to fix all that up too, but they have to make it look appealing on 8th Avenue.
Are you fucking serious?
A new grand entrance, a big grand entrance will be on 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue, not the 7th Avenue. They're gonna fix up the whole thing. But 8th Avenue is what they mainly wanna focus on. That's a fact. I knew about that 2 years ago. 8th Avenue is what they want to fix up. So it's funny that this whole thing is gonna cost $8 billion. It's gonna be a new grand entrance on 8th Avenue, and your man OG Anunoby, for some reason, happens to be number 8, and he saves the New York Knicks. Let's keep going.
Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett with a closer look at the grand plans for Penn Station, including the Trump administration and how it's involved.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to say that, too, because, yes, I'm going to keep stopping while I talk. A lot of people were saying things about Trump, right? Remember how everybody was saying, why is Trump at the game? You know, he's going to mess things up. That's fine. But this is what people don't know. Because I was having a talk with my people. Why y'all so mad at Trump being at the game? It doesn't matter, right? If this is all real, forget about Trump. Just pay attention to the game, right? Why y'all paying attention to Trump so much? Trump is going to be there, yeah, so. This is what a lot of people don't understand, though. And y'all can do y'all facts. Y'all can do y'all check. Guess what happened? Guess who's the reason why MSG gets to stay on 33rd Street? And instead of moving, they get to stay right where they're at while Penn Station does, they refix everything up. But Madison Square Garden doesn't have to move. Guess who was responsible for the Knicks not having to move? That's Donald Trump.
Are you fucking serious?
That's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the reason why. Donald Trump is the reason why. He said, no, Knicks is going to stay. Knicks is going to stay. Me and someone else is going to get together, partner, right? Going to be $8 billion, right? Penn Station can stay where it's at, but MSG has to stay where it's at. They are not leaving on 33rd Street. Yes, 33rd Street. 33rd Street. The New York Knicks, number 3 seed, wins their 3rd NBA championship. The Knicks get to stay on 33rd Street. Yes, you heard it right. The Knicks get to stay on 33rd Street. The number 3 seed wins their 3rd NBA championship. And yes, people, these are things that I knew, right? Especially after they beat, right? Especially after they beat the Spurs. I had to keep, putting all my notes together and things like that. And that's the reason why I said, if they beat the Hawks round 1, expect the New York Knicks to make the NBA Finals, because this was built up from the beginning, right? This whole thing with Brunson coming, right? And all the success that they had, it was planned. Madison, they wanted to get rid of Madison Square Garden. And anyone that was rocking with me, I didn't just tell you guys that this year or last year. I remember when I first started talking about it was like early 2024 about the whole thing of Madison Square Garden. And then we also touched on, the World Cup is going in. Now, I would always say I still can't crown the New York Knicks NBA final champions at any point, because I have to still see it to believe it. I've always said that, and you guys know that. You guys know that, and I gotta see it to believe it, right? But Knicks making it to the finals, that's why I said if they beat Atlanta, they're gonna go to the NBA finals. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it, right? I always tell people you have to pay attention to what's going on business-wise when a certain team wins the NBA championship. It's not about the players. It's bigger than the players, right? No wonder why they always tell you politics and sports, don't put them together. It's the reason why, because they don't want you to know the business side of what goes on. This whole thing with the New York Knicks, that's why I kept saying it. This was a build-up. And then it's a dead giveaway. You think that they're going to switch up, the New York Knicks is going to switch up on the coach just to be in the same position? No. No, they get a new coach, bring in Mike Brown. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Why do all of that just to lose? It's always a build-up. And that's why I tell people, you got to pay attention to build-ups. They can only go up. You lose to the Pacers 2 years ago on the Eastern Semi. And then you lose to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. But we keep letting y'all win. Something tells me that you're just going to go to the NBA Finals this time. Right? People got to understand this whole thing about it was bigger than James Dolan had a decision to make. That's what people don't understand. James Dolan had a decision to make. So when I tell people about all of this, sometimes I'm like, just trust and believe my word, right? I couldn't give all the gems out until after the finals was over because nobody was going to believe me. Everybody was heavy on Wemby. Fair enough. Fair enough. But I'm trying to tell people, no, I'm not. I couldn't tell everybody everything. I'm not even going to lie. There was the times people would ask questions. Why do you think the Knicks would win? Da, 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 da. Can't say everything. We'll break it down after they win, though. If you go on Twitter, if you go on Instagram, if you go everywhere, everybody had their reasons. Anyone that did pick the Knicks, they had like gematria reasons, right? Fine. But I will always ask, okay, but why though? If the New York Knicks is going to win a championship, you have to tell me why. Fuck the numbers. I don't do gematria. Me, I do simple math. Regular simple math. Multiplication, addition, subtraction. Right? Multiplication. The simple shit. See, certain things is just simple. It's straight up in your face. You got to pay attention to the numbers. One of the first numbers we ever spoke about here in Rig Scripted and Fixed was the 3. That you guys know that. We've been spoke about the 3. That's old news to the point where you guys don't even hear me talk about the 3 anymore, if you notice. We've been talking about the 3. And then if anybody wants to be technical too, though, New York Knicks win 4-1. Just like San Antonio beat them 4-1. The difference between 1 and 4 is 3. The threes was all over here. The threes was all over. I'm surprised nobody like really saw that. See the 3 right there? Like nobody really saw that. The 8, a wild card number. Always pay that attention. The 8. The whole time, people missed it, right? I didn't think OG was going to do a game winner. He was on fire that game. But I'm like, you mean to tell me nobody? I'm listening to what everybody's saying, who they think going to win, whether it's the Spurs or whether the Knicks. I'm like, damn, nobody is really getting why the Knicks is going to win this championship? Nobody? And that's why I gave you a clue. I said, try to tap in with people that live in a certain city that knows sports to figure out what's going on. Spurs wasn't winning that. Spurs wasn't winning that. It was the Knicks all the way. You know Madison Square Garden is very important to the NBA. Or like very important to the NBA. Not only is games, do you know the money that they invest for draft when the draft is in Madison Square Garden? Right? I mean, if it can't work there, they'll just go to the Barclays Center, right? But for the most point, it being around Madison Square Garden or the Madison Square Garden Theater that's attached to Madison Square Garden, I don't think people really understand how valuable Madison Square Garden as a whole is important to the NBA. They can't move that shit. They can't move that. Ah, man, we got to figure something out. The New York Knicks gonna have to win the championship because now Dolan, right? Because they was telling now Dolan, you have to justify. Think about that. Think about the city and the state saying you got to justify why we keep Madison Square Garden here and not move it to fix up Penn Station. You have to justify to the people why you keep something as big as Madison Square Garden right there on 33rd Street, down the block from 34th Street. Yeah, I don't think people really understand the business that goes on over there. You have to justify why you keep Madison Square Garden there. If the Knicks keep losing and losing and losing and losing and losing, we might as well send them somewhere else if they just keep losing for all that. Why keep them there when we can build something or reconstruct something right there? We don't need Madison Square Garden. When you think about Madison Square Garden, the first thing you think of is the New York Knicks. You're not thinking about the Rangers. I mean, for hockey fans, yeah, but Madison Square Garden, James Dolan owns the New York Knicks. And not only does he own the New York Knicks, he actually owns Madison Square Garden. Remember, every owner of a team doesn't own the stadium or the arena. James Dolan owns. He owns Madison Square Garden, people. The city wanted to fix up Penn Station. So you gotta tell me why we keep Madison Square Garden where it's at for a team that's not winning. You see what I'm saying? It's straight to the point, and that's what I was trying to tell people. That is, you don't. I don't think people really understood that. It flew by, but I don't blame no one. But it just flew by y'all heads. It flew by people's heads. Let's hear some more.
The crowds are overwhelming the platforms, which are just too narrow to handle that many people. Madison Square Garden has been sitting on top of this station for more than 60 years, built of concrete and heavy metals, and in order to support all of that weight, they had to come down here into Penn Station and install about 1,000 columns like these. And it makes it very inconvenient for any change to be made down here, whether to expand the station, adding tracks, adding platforms. In order to get anything done on a large scale here, you need to get an agreement among quite a large group of stakeholders that includes the federal government, Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, which is controlled by the governor of New Jersey, the Long Island Railroad, which is controlled by the governor of New York, the owners of the garden, and a host of other people. It's been very difficult to actually get anything done, and that's why things here are pretty much the same as they've been for the last 20, 25 years. There are many proposed ideas for how to change Penn Station. One of those proposals is to wrap Madison Square Garden in blast-proof glass, making it much lighter, and that would allow for the removal of more than 250 of these columns. It's widely agreed that the key to getting any really significant change done here at Penn Station would be to move the garden off the top of it. And in fact, there are a number of proposals that would do that.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? What did he say? What did he say? What did he say? In order to fix that, the best way to do that is to get rid and move Madison Square Garden. Do you know how crazy the city would be, right? If they was to move Madison Square Garden? First off, for those that don't know, this is not the first place Madison Square Garden was. Madison Square Garden was all the way on the west side when it first came about. Little history lesson. But when you think of Madison Square Garden, you're thinking about 33rd Street. That's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about Madison Square Garden on 33rd Street between 7th and 8th. That's what you're thinking about. You know how much of a big deal that is? Madison Square Garden, that arena itself is more of a big deal than any arena in the NBA. Any arena in the NBA. Any. NBA offices is in New York as well. So if you guys really think about it, and that's why I was saying, like, I was hoping some people caught on to it, like, New York Knicks is not gonna lose against the Spurs if they go to the finals. First and foremost, I mentioned that already too. It was something I mentioned that, but New York Knicks to Spurs. No, because what that's going to do is if the Knicks was to lose the finals, then Madison Square Garden would have to go. It would have to go. They had to justify why they keep Madison Square Garden there. The best way to do that is you win. Now the stock of Madison Square Garden is through the roof with the New York Knicks winning. The New York Knicks won the finals? They're not letting that go. The people that live around there themselves, don't move New York. Don't move Madison Square Garden. Hell no, don't move that. Don't do that. Then now the Knicks can justify. Nobody can't say nothing. That's what the whole buildup was for. That's why I found it funny when they lost to the Pacers 2 years ago, right? But then they lost to the Pacers again, but on the next round, I'm like, shit, if the Knicks, depending on what the playoffs are this year, and then when I saw that the New York Knicks was a 3 seed, I'm like, oh. And it's funny. It's funny because the Spurs was a 2 seed, and there go that whole 2-3 thing again. There go the 2 3s for those that 2 3s, right? Knicks and Spurs, 2 3s, right? 33rd Street, Madison Square Garden, right? Knicks, third seed, wins their third championship. I feel like this is the beginning days of Rick Scripted and Fix. Because we was heavy on the 3 and the 33s. Like that was the freaking days. I remember that. I feel like we going back to that. As soon as I saw the Knicks as a 3 seed. And what do I always tell you guys too? More times than not, for those that don't know, make sure you put this in your notes. More times than not 100%, but more times than not, the lower seed or the lower seed always beats the higher seed when it comes to seeds 1, 2, and 3. Usually, if you see a 2 versus a 1, not all the time, but usually when you see a 2 versus 1, expect the 2 seed to beat the 1 seed. When you see a 3 seed versus a 2, expect the 3 seed to beat the 2 seed. And I'm not talking about just basketball. I'm talking about in sports in general. Pay that attention. Make sure you guys note that. That usually happens for a reason. Yes, yeah. That AT&T commercial with who was it? It was wasn't Starks on that shit too? Wasn't Starks, right? What's his name? Jalen Brunson. Yeah, that one. The Knicks had a lot of commercials too. For those that didn't peep that, it's the same thing that they did with OKC, with Chet and what's his name? SGA. How they was building them up. You saw them the commercials that they had, bro. It's all theater, people. Championship doesn't always commercials don't always mean championship. I'm just saying though. But if you see and pay attention to how they do it, it's a dead giveaway. So I'm racking up all of this shit going on with the Knicks. I'm like, Spurs not gonna win. For that main reason, Madison Square Garden. They wasn't going to let Madison Square Garden. I mean, I have more news footage. It's simple. It's like a couple of seconds news footage just to let you guys know this what was going on that whole time when everybody thought like, I say Spurs. Nah, you better take the Knicks, bro. Madison Square Garden. It's a big deal. They're not letting that shit go, bro. They can't let that shit go. It's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Trump administration has picked a design for Penn Station, and it will keep.
Y'all heard that? Who picked the design? Who picked the design, Miss? Miss, I didn't quite hear you. Could you let me know who the person that picked the design of Penn Station? Could you please say that again, Miss?
Trump administration has picked a design for Penn Station, and it will keep Madison Square.
Say that one more time, Miss. What? Whose administration? I can't quite hear it. Say it again.
Trump administration has picked a design for Penn Station, and it will keep Madison Square Garden in place. The new plans include new cladding to give the garden a classical look, a grand entrance for the train hall on 8th Avenue, and also expanding track capacity. Today, the administration named a master developer team and also announced an additional $200 million investment to ensure the project is on track to break ground next year.
Boom. Boom. That's the reason why Trump was at the game. That's the exact reason why. So when I'm sitting there trying to tell people, don't worry about Trump. What y'all worried about him for? It's a reason why he's at that game. Don't worry about it too much. Whether real or fake, focus on the game. Donald Trump has nothing to do. He's not on a court. He's not the first president to ever go to a game. Don't focus on him. Focus on the game. Trump has nothing to do with nothing. So I say all this for all of you for all of you Knicks fans, right? Because a lot of Knicks fans was talking shit about Trump. I think y'all really need to reconsider that shit. And you really need to thank him because he's the reason why the New York Knicks get to stay at Madison Square Garden. Trump's the reason why Madison Square Garden stays and remains where it's at. I don't know why people was getting mad at him. Well, not you guys, Knicks fans. What are you getting mad at him for? You need to be happy. You need to be happy that Trump was at that game. He's the one that's investing him, and he's putting together $8 billion to get it. First off, it's already like they're starting to construct it now anyway. It's already it's already moving. Everything is moving. But he's the one that's putting him and other people with power is putting together that $8 billion, but it's mainly him though, because by the way too, they're thinking about maybe not Penn Station as a whole, but a certain area in Penn Station, naming it after him too. Remember where you guys heard that first. If it officially does happen. If it officially happens though. But yes, he's the main guy. Him and his administration are the main people putting the money behind Madison Square Garden. So why do you think that the Knicks are in the position that they're in, or was in the position that they was in last night? Because you have to justify doing that, because the city actually was going to say no. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, not was going to say no. They did say no when all this first came about. Anybody that remembers when I had this conversation with you guys 2 years ago? Anyone that came in after? Well, now you know. But I had this conversation. I brought this up to people 2 years ago about what they're trying to do with Madison Square Garden. And then ironically, what happens? The Knicks have a little feud back with the Pacers like what they did in the 90s, right? Knicks Pacers that first time, they lose. Knicks Pacers again, they lose, but now on an advanced in the next round. So what do you think is going to happen with the Knicks now? Oh, so they're going to let the Knicks go to the playoffs again? I don't see the Knicks getting bounced in the second and third round like they did the last 2 years. That's why, once again, I said it's either the Knicks lose the first round or they just go to the NBA Finals, nothing in between. Yes, Mike Brown does have the connection. For those, I mean, I've been said that. I've been said that anyway. About Mike Brown, that he was the Spurs coach. He was their assistant coach behind Popovich in 2003 when they won their first championship, right? And then he won his next three with the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, so the whole Mike Brown thing, I've been knew that as well. That's something that I don't even have to look up. I remember that as it was happening, because another fun fact, in 2003 when which is funny when you talk about New York and New Jersey connection, Mike Brown and Popovich in 2003 had won the championship against the New Jersey Nets. So, little fun fact, the San Antonio Spurs, their first two titles was against the New York Knicks and the New Jersey Nets.
Are you fucking serious?
See, I was around all this shit. I went to the New York Knicks San Antonio Spurs finals, right? I went to one game. I went to the New Jersey versus the Spurs finals. I also went to that game. That's when the Spurs had won 4-2, because previously the Lakers had swept the New Jersey Nets 4-0 the year before in 2022. So I was able to get tickets in 2003 when the Spurs beat the New Jersey Nets 4-2. And Mike Brown was the assistant coach for that squad.
Are you fucking serious?
So yes, the whole Mike Brown shit, I already know about that. Yep. So it's like that's the reason why the New York Knicks is in the position that they're in now. Where they go from here, I know a lot of people have opinions or whatever. I really don't want to speak on that because it just happened yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm still here. It's early, right? You still got to think about all the storylines, what's gonna happen, blah blah blah. You know what's gonna be the situation with Penn Station. Even though it is a go now, it is a go, but I'm pretty sure. I think the Knicks done made so much money just off of this one finals. To be honest with you, right? But you just never know. So that's another discussion for another time. And then also, I want to say, what did anybody really think that Mitch Robinson, right? That's the coach name, right? Was actually going to beat Mike Brown? Mike Brown never got to win an NBA Finals as a head coach, right? He's had a lot of failures as a head coach. You know, he was with LeBron, didn't win. He got swept by the San Antonio Spurs in 2007, ironically. So San Antonio Spurs he already lost to the Spurs, right? Even though he was a part of the Spurs. I didn't see it happening again. But why did anybody think that that coach was actually going to win before Mike Brown won? I didn't get that. Which, I mean, listen, to each his own. But I was looking at that. I'm like, Uh, it reminded me of Duke. The same thing when Coach K left. Everybody thought that this new coach, especially because he was handpicked by Coach K, right? Everybody thought that he was going to have success right out the gate as a San Antonio Spur. I didn't see what anybody thought about that. Or once again, I think people was probably missing that. They probably missed that part. It's like, oh nah, bro. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. Right? I don't see it happening. Oh yeah. I know what y'all talking about. Yeah. This right here. And another reason too, this was a big deal for me too. This was a big deal for me too. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, y'all see it right here. With Wemby celebrating too quick. Let's go back.
On the biggest stage. Final. Look at the emotion from Wemby. Unbelievable. This is what you want to see. A young team growing up on the biggest stage. Look how his teammates. Final. Look at the emotion from Wemby. Unbelievable. This is what you want to see. A young team.
And that's funny that the score was 111 to 103. You take away, you can subtract that, you can subtract that and get an 8, or you can add that and you can get a 14.
Are you fucking serious?
Now, I mean, I get what people. Listen, I understand what y'all saying because obviously a coach has to win. You know, duh, some coach has to win, but Mitch Johnson. Okay, I'm sorry, I said that shit wrong. Right? I don't know. I was thinking about something else. Right? I don't see him. No. There was no chance I thought he was just going to win. He's just going to come in as a head coach and he going to win after Mike Brown had to get all the bumps and bruises. And he already got a lot of slack on him anyway, as it is. So then you come in and you just lose like that. I don't really see that happening. I'm going to go and say this. I don't think San Antonio Spurs is going to have the success that a lot of people think they
Are you fucking serious?
I don't. It's okay. It's a lot of reasons why. So I look at it like this. The Golden State Warriors basically changed the game, right? They got 7 rings, right? Right behind them is Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Even though they are 6-0, yes, they are 6-0. So that right there is like special when it comes to basketball, right? I got my own thoughts about that, but it's special. San Antonio Spurs have 5. Me personally, I don't see the San Antonio Spurs passing the Bulls anytime soon, or even fuck the Bulls passing Golden State Warriors. I don't see it. I don't see it. And yes, I'm saying it now and I'm saying it early. I don't see it. I don't I don't see it. I don't really see it. I don't see it. I think people got to be very careful about I think people got to be very careful because they got to think about the business side of things, not just because of the Spurs organization. No, I'm not sold on it. I don't see. No.
Are you fucking serious?
No. Yeah. I've seen this. I've seen this story before. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen this story before. I've seen this story before. People gotta watch out. I've seen this story before. I've seen this story before, bro. I've seen this story before, and I don't think it's the way. It's not gonna be the way people really think when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs. It's really not. To be honest with you, I don't see a lot of things working out for Wemby though. I don't. I've seen this story before. Call me crazy. I've seen this story before. I promise you. It's something's not right about this. Oh yeah, also, for anybody that's maybe near the New York area or whatever, y'all know about this. Y'all should have knew about this. A lot of us, we saw it. It's gonna be, I mean, it's gonna come out everywhere, but this also was a dead giveaway. This right here. When I saw this, I had this say, yeah, I'll make sure I save this. Yeah. Why? They didn't want to release, well, no, to the public. They didn't really want to talk about this too much to the public as much as far as giving the date of when it came out. The Air Jordan 8s. Look. Listen. Listen, guys. Look. What does it say? The Air Jordan 8s. He could have made a sneaker. He could have made any other. He could have made the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, or whatever. Michael Jordan brand, Jordan the Nike brand, are releasing the 8s. I kept telling y'all. For anybody that just came in, you may want to watch the replay, right? I spoke about 8, right? Jordan 8 in the New York Knicks color, right? In the New York Knicks color. And then not only that, pay attention. That's why I said I don't do gematria. Shit is just straight simple for me. Last time I checked, December's the 12th month, right? That's the 12th month, right? And it comes out on the 24th. 12 plus 24 is 36. New York Knicks are now 3-6 in the NBA Finals.
Are you fucking serious?
You can't make this shit up, y'all. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this. Now, for anybody from New York, we saw it. You go in certain shoe stores, you see the posters. You see the posters. But now when the Knicks officially had won, you like, oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. You wanna release the 8s, right? The 8s for the New York Knicks. And you want to release them, instead of releasing them now, which you should because they just won, you want to release them 12-24, which is 36, and the Knicks become 3-6 in the NBA Finals? Those shoes is going to be worth a lot of money. Well, especially for resale because the New York Knicks just won the NBA Finals. Got to start connecting all the dots. If the Spurs was going to win the NBA Finals, you would have started to see a lot of clues as to why they would have been promoted differently. And that's how I knew. I said they're not going to win. They're not promoting them. They're not promoting them. That's how that shit goes. Look at this. He the face. He can't be. You can't do this. Now, granted, now, granted, I do know he's not from America, but you're playing in the American League, and if we make you the face, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You know what? I like this tweet. This was a tweet that somebody wrote, right? I actually want to share it. I actually think this was dope. It says, you can't see it. I'll read it. I'll read it, right? I call himself ESPN Frankie, right? He said, I'm not saying Wemby won't get a title, but there is no guarantee that you make it back to the finals. LeBron spoiled a lot of fans because they think that shit is a cakewalk, but it's hard as hell to get there, let alone win. Now, for those that think it's real, those that think it's fake, right? That is a point. Once again, he says, I am not saying Wemby won't get a title, but there is no guarantee that you make it back to the finals. LeBron spoiled a lot of fans because they think this shit is a cakewalk, but it's hard as hell to get there, let alone win. And I think that's an actual fact. I think that's an actual fact. I think a lot of people's forgetting that, right? Now, I'm not here to say if he does or if he doesn't, but a lot of people got to look at the fact is, who says that you're going to make it back? Who says that you're going to make it back? There's a lot of guys, especially big men that's currently in the NBA right now that got MVPs. They didn't even go back. Whether they won or lost, they didn't even go back. They got MVPs. They got a championship. What's going on? Why they ain't go back? Right? Now, I do know people say, well, Wemby's young, so chances are he will be back. See, I'm not, it's a chance, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if everybody thinks that he's going to have so much success like that, you have to be careful because you're setting yourself up for disappointment when it comes to Wemby. That's the problem. What if he don't make it back? Now, I'm going to say this too. I think the NBA very soon, they're going to get off of the whole promoting a lot of foreign players, right? Foreign players will be here to stay. Don't get me wrong, but the whole promotion of foreign players, I think that's going to die down very soon. It's going to die down very soon. I have this eerie feeling that it's going to die down very soon. Because it's been a long run. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a long run. It's like they're not going to keep doing this shit because it's going to become very, very obvious to people that, you mean to tell me now all of a sudden American players can't win? Right? Now all of a sudden they can't win? And I'm talking about MVPs. I'm talking MVPs. I'm not talking about the main guy who's an American player, because the last time, no, OKC, that's SGA from Canada, but we just had the Boston Celtics win 2 years ago. Boston Celtics won, right? And then before that it was the Nuggets though. But even before that, the Golden State Warriors had won. So American players, main guys, win championships. But I'm talking about the whole promoting of MVPs and things like that. I think that's gonna go away very soon. Not saying that they won't rock with them, but it's becoming like too like obvious that, yeah, all of a sudden is who was the last MVP that we had that was an American player? Wasn't it James Harden? I just need you guys to look at things like this and stop living in the moment so much. That's why I never get, if you're pushing it to me, right? If you're I can't. I got to look at it with a side eye because you keep pushing it. If it's so-called 100% authentic and real, let it speak for itself. You don't have to push. Think about what I'm saying here. If you pushing somebody to be the face, you keep saying it. Then me as a watcher, I'm gonna start saying, yo, this has to be fake because How do you know that such and such player will be the face? I keep hearing people say it. I keep hearing Kendrick Perkins say it. I keep hearing like all those people that's talking pregame, all those people on ESPN. They, I've never heard of. I never heard somebody be called the face so much. I didn't even hear that about LeBron James. I didn't hear that when I was young about Michael Jordan, because that term "face of the league" is not new. That's not a new term, right? I didn't hear terms like that. What happened was it just spoke for itself. People was loving Jordan. People was loving Bron. The NBA had to do it because of what they saw. They kept them as, oh, I'm going to be the face. But Wemby, they're saying it before he accomplishes anything. That's the problem that I have. So when I see that, any small person can easily just ask the NBA, well, so then you're going to be rigging things for him, right? They can answer back and say, no, why would you say that? I can say, because you're saying he's going to be the face. You guys keep pressing to us that he's going to be the face. How do you know he's going to be the face? You don't know that. You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say he's going to be the face unless you are pushing for him to be the face, which means the referees cannot call fouls or cannot get him thrown out the game, right? They have to make sure he's protected, right? You have to make sure, of course, he wins championships. You have to make sure he's put in a good light at all times in order to be the face. If it's real, you don't know for sure if somebody's going to do that. Now do you see why I say the things that I say? I don't talk just to talk. When you start seeing these things, you start asking yourself these questions. I don't know. That look a little bit suspect to me. You see what I'm saying? You can't push the face. I mean, you can push it, but you can't, like, they still have to go out and do the work. Wemby didn't do the work yet. He ain't do the work. So we can't say it. For those that just tuned in, we also talking about how why the New York Knicks were supposed to win a championship with that whole $8 billion. Well, you know what? Let me shut up. Let's play another clip.
It's a big story because we are about to see some big changes at New York Penn Station. The Trump administration and Amtrak have come up with $8 billion, a plan to overhaul the station.
So while Madison Square Garden will stay, a lot of other things will not. There will be a new grand entrance, new concourses, new shops, and it's going to have more rail capacity. Eyewitness
News reporter NJ Burkett with a closer look at the grand plans for Penn Station, including the Trump administration and how it's involved.
To the thousands of commuters flooding through Penn Station, it must have looked like a search for the paranormal, scoping out the tracks, peering around corners, creeping slowly down the central corridor, and slipping quietly into storefronts. But he's actually using a laser to make 3D images of Penn Station for a multi-billion-dollar project to rebuild it.
If they're willing to make that investment, as they say, and they're not going to mess with the Long Island Railroad areas, we're very excited.
The original renderings depicted soaring ceilings, vast open corridors, and a majestic new entrance on 8th Avenue. The Trump administration took over the project last year, led by former transit
Let's
president
play that part
Andy
again.
Byford.
Let's play that part again.
Renderings depicted soaring ceilings, vast open corridors, and a majestic new entrance on 8th Avenue. The Trump administration took over the project last year, led by former
8th Avenue. 8th Avenue. 8, y'all. 8. I repeat. 8.
Transit President Andy Byford. The project is one step closer to having shovels in the ground next year, Byford said today. It demonstrates that Amtrak and USDOT are uniquely capable of making this vision a reality. In testimony before Congress, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said the administration was committing $8 billion for the project. Penn Station was built in
8. They keep saying 8, y'all. You notice that, right? They keep saying 8.
1910, but fell into disrepair and was demolished in the 1960s. Previous concepts never got off the drawing board. Ron Siegel owns restaurants in Penn Station.
I think it's a great idea because it'll help clean up the station. It'll give the station a much better image. And it is America's transportation hub.
Some riders tonight are skeptical.
I think there'll obviously be strings attached. It's going to be learned. It's going to be Trump Station. And, it's just another grift after.
Did y'all hear that? Let me know in the chat if y'all heard it. I just need a yes or no. Y'all heard what he said. And he ain't saying it just to say it. Us New Yorkers, we know what the deal is. Did y'all hear what he said? They're going to call Penn Station, most likely, if it's done? Because it has to be official. So I can't sit there and tell you guys yet it's actually official yet. But did you hear what Penn Station will be called? Y'all heard that, right? You heard that, right, Donald? Yep, you heard that, Renzo, right? Y'all heard what he said. For those that don't know, let's play it back just a little bit. Just a little bit what they gonna call it. I got you, Scrub Zero. You want to know what they gonna call it? You know what they're going to call it? Let's play it.
It's transportation hub.
Some riders tonight are skeptical.
I think there'll obviously be strings attached. It's going to be learned. It's going to be Trump Station. And, it's just another grift after another. And, it's just another, obviously be strings attached. It's going to be learned. It's going to be Trump Station. And, it's just another grift after strings attached. It's going to be learned. It's going to be Trump Station. And, it's just another grift after another grift after another grift.
Tom Wright is with the Regional Plan Association.
The federal government's commitment to this and the fact that...
The federal government, not even just New York City, the federal government. You guys do know this is one of the largest hubs. Penn Station over here is one of the largest hubs of traveling. One of the largest hubs. So the federal government is even on top of this. The state, obviously, duh. The city, duh. Trump administration.
This is the best proposal I've seen in 25 years for actually fixing Penn Station. Those coming together give me a real sense of optimism.
2 generations of riders have heard a lot of promises. But if this happens, and it happens on time, Penn Station could be rebuilt within 6 years. In Midtown.
Within 6 years.
Are you fucking serious?
6 years. 33rd Street. The 3 seed wins their 3rd championship. Stop fucking playing with me. Thank you. Trump wasn't at game 3 for nothing. Why do you think I never spoke on it? Remember that game? You noticed I didn't speak on that? Y'all noticed that, right? I really had nothing to say about that. I was actually sitting there laughing. I'm looking at all the comments. I mean, not from you guys, but like on especially Instagram, because the New York Knicks fans over here, they was upset. I'm on Twitter. I'm listening to interviews. I'm even listening to celebrities that that love the Knicks talk. I'm sitting there like, do you guys not see what's going on here? Why are you getting mad at Trump? You shouldn't be mad at Trump. All of you Knicks fans should be thanking Trump. Every single New York Knicks fan that's watching this, you should be thanking Trump. He is the reason why Madison Square Garden gets to stay where it's at, and the Knicks got to get a championship to justify the Knicks staying on 33rd Street, even though they are going to reconstruct Penn Station.
Are you fucking serious?
I was waiting to talk about this after the New York Knicks won the finals. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been finally waiting for. The Knicks happen to do it now that I'm on the dark side of sports now, right? You guys know the pain that I had. I suffered pain with the New York Knicks. I was a New York Knicks fan before I jumped on the dark side. I was a New York Knicks fan. Yes, I was. That was my team before I jumped on the dark side. Right? But just because the Knicks won now, I can't sit there and be like, oh yeah, that would be stupid. But I was a I was a Knicks fan. I was a Knicks fan years ago before I jumped on the dark side. I could listen like I did with the Patriots. I showed you. I show I show you right here. I was on the dark side with the Knicks. I was. I was. I know what the pain. Listen, I know what the pain was, as you guys can see. I know what the pain was. I know how that felt. Right? Let's play it back. I know how this felt with the Knicks always coming up short. I was riding and dying with them. Right? So this is, and that's why I said like there's New York Knicks fans, there's people that's not New York Knicks fans anymore, but then you have those people that's sitting there causing riots and all that dumb shit. They're not fans. They just want some type of attention. Those are a lot of those kids probably wasn't even around when the Knicks won. I mean when the Knicks won. Duh, I wasn't around either. But even when the Knicks went to the finals. So all them riots and shit, those are not New York Knicks fans. So I just want you guys, anyone that's listening, please don't think that this is what New York Knicks fans are doing. In their defense, out here in the city, they're not really doing. There's a lot of places they're doing that at, but there's some places they're not doing that at. Let's get that straight. Right? Because like I heard some of y'all in the comments say, well, a lot of these fans can't go to they can't come to my city and do that shit because mother effers got straps, right? Right? Dudes got straps. Like in the South and all that. You can't sit there and do that. But you know where you can't do that also. Even here in the city, notice those kids or those people that's doing the riots, you gotta pay attention to where they doing it at. You notice they're not going in those certain hoods because see the thing about New York, they don't care about straps because they carry straps illegally. They like to carry straps illegally. Other places y'all can carry legally. New York, they don't care. They're carrying it illegally. And the reason why dudes in New York carry it illegally is because if they're gonna do any dirt, it's easier to not get tracked versus somebody that can have it, it's tracked. So a lot of New Yorkers like, I don't want to have no gun legally anyway, because I don't want things coming back to me. They're not doing it in certain hoods, is what I'm trying to say. These people that's doing the riots that you guys see on Twitter, Instagram, and all that, notice they're not going in certain hoods here in New York City doing that. They're not doing that. Go to the dangerous hoods in the Bronx and try that. Or Brooklyn. Try that. Go certain parts of uptown and try that. Go to certain place. Matter of fact, with the mob dudes, with the mob dudes. Go to those neighborhoods and do riots like that. You're gonna be found in the ocean somewhere.
Are you fucking serious?
They know where they can do it and they know where they can't do it. Yeah, you can go to 34th Street. Yeah, the cops will be over there and all that. But you go to 34th Street, go over there or close by 42nd Street. Yeah, go over there and do that. Of course, go over there and do that. You're not going to no hoods doing that. They're not doing that. Yeah, they're not ready for those conversations. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm telling people, like just really look at it for what it is. They're not. Pay attention to the hoods they're doing that in. Come on now. Those are not real New York fans, bro. They're not real New York fans. Pay them no attention, y'all. And I'm apologize for that because I am a 100% New Yorker, born and raised, and that's not how we are. That's not how we are. Shit, I showed you a video of how it was, and I didn't even get the whole. I couldn't even show you everything because it was dark. About how when my hood, when they won, what game was it? They won. I think it was game. It wasn't when OG. It wasn't when OG did the tip. I think it was game 2, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I showed you the video. Those Knicks, they having fun. They're not doing all that other wild shit. But yeah. So anyway, not to get off track, I had to let you guys know why the New York Knicks are in the position that they're in. So for those that just came, like I said, the reason why the New York Knicks are in the position, that they're in is because Madison Square Garden was going to be moved. And this is not new news. This is just not like this year. Anyone that was rocking with me 2 years ago, I first mentioned this to you, right? I first mentioned it. We had a conversation. I think I even said it on Lobo's live too, like briefly. Said it on my live, said it on his live briefly about the New York Knicks, right? Might have to move Madison Square Garden. And that wouldn't be good for the NBA at all. So if you really think about this, guys, the city and the state is like, well, what is the reason? Like, there's more in depth to it. I was just showing you guys the video, but the conversations were the conversations. Why does Madison Square Garden need to stay there? What's the reason for Madison Square Garden staying there? You could just move it somewhere else, right? It has to be a real reason why we keep it there. The team is so-so. They're not winning. That's what James Dolan and the rest of the NBA. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring some people over. We're gonna build the New York Knicks team up, right? We're gonna right, and then what's gonna happen is we're gonna build them up to win the championship. Okay, yeah, you're gonna face the Pacers one round, right? The Eastern Conference semis, right? Boom. The Garden was rocking, but they lose. Next year, which was last year, we had the Knicks go farther, go the next step. You face the Indiana Pacers again, but this time in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, you come up short. Now, this is what happens. This is what happens. You're going to go to the finals. And not only go to the finals, you're going to win the finals. Now, the government, city, state can all collectively come together and say, we're going to keep Madison Square Garden right where it is, and we will build Penn Station, rebuild Penn Station around it. New York, Madison Square Garden can stay right where it's at. Doesn't have to be moved now. New York Knicks won a championship. Now you can justify keeping Madison Square Garden there. That's how business goes, y'all. That's what I look into. I like to pay attention to what's going on in the city and the town and things like that. Business-wise. I know it's a bit boring. It is. But me, I like to read. I like to read on things. That's what I do. Right? So if anyone that just came in, you may want to watch that playback, but I'm making it more simple for y'all. That's the reason why the New York Knicks won the championship. That's exactly the reason why. Now 33rd Street, Madison Square Garden is saved. The third seed wins their third championship. The third seed wins their third championship. 33rd Street is saved. Anunoby, number 8. He's the one to get the tipping to save the Knicks. Right? His tipping saved the Knicks. Number 8. What's so big about number 8? Well, for the last hour and a half, y'all, I broke down the whole number 8 with the whole New York. It's gonna cost $8 billion. It's costing $8 billion. And that's the reason why they picked the perfect year. Because why didn't the Knicks just win last year? Why didn't they win the year before? You know why? It's gonna be 53. It's gonna be 53 years. The 5 plus the 3 is the 8.
Are you fucking serious?
You see what I'm saying, y'all? That's the type of shit that I like to bring you guys here in Rig, Scripted, and Fix. That's the type of information that I like to give you guys. Breakdowns that make sense. Not just because I'm not going to give you just the gematria in a number and say, oh, 20, 28, 28 equals 28 equals the word stop. And stop has 4 letters. And that's the oracle. That's the oracle of Satan that was divided by 4 because it equaled God, right? And God equals the savior of Wemby because they had God and Wemby means the same thing because they both was born in January, and January equals 6, and 6 is the same thing that the devil represent. I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not doing that shit. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. When I tell the when I'm telling you guys something, right? And it sound like I'm breaking numbers down, trust and believe I don't do no gematria. I know math. Shit is simple. It's pattern. It's pattern. It's all about patterns. That's what it's about. Just like I was seeing a lot of 41s going on, especially on Twitter, right? With gematria breakdowns with 41, 41, 41. I found that funny because as you guys know, the whole 4 and the whole 1 thing, not even just 14, but the whole 4 and the 1 thing, you guys know. Once again, I've been talking about it for 2 years. And it's funny that these guys want to do these breakdowns and use 14 and 14. I've been seeing that on Twitter and I've been laughing. I'm like, yeah. But when I was trying to tell you about that shit from the beginning, absolutely nobody wanted to pay attention to it. Not you guys, but I'm just saying people in general. They didn't want to pay attention to it. And I'm trying to tell her, well, you got to pay attention, right? The whole thing with the Spurs and the Knicks, right? 41, and that's crazy too. Y'all do know my birthday was like 3 weeks ago, right? Yeah, 3 weeks ago, and I had turned 41. Shout out to all y'all for the birthday wishes too. So I found it funny. This year is a very interesting year for me when it comes to the 4 and the 1, the 1 and the 4. Because yeah, I'm 41, and it's crazy. I finally get to witness the New York Knicks win the championship at my age of 41. So I can say there are meanings behind numbers, but the way they do the whole gematria thing is kind of it's a little bit too crazy. But this was funny to me. You see this right here, right on the screen for everybody. Just look at the screen. What do you guys notice about what I said? It's simple. It's right there. It's in your face. Everybody that's watching the screen right now on this live, because if you're just listening, I'm gonna tell you what it is. Right now, I have a picture of the 1999 NBA Finals compared to the 2026 NBA Finals. The final game of both of them. What do you guys notice here? It was something that it took me less than 30 seconds to see this. Right? What do you guys notice between the Knicks and the Spurs? What's so eerie about that? It's 2 things I see on there. Right? Well, I can get to the point. Well, there's 3 things. There's 3 things. Both of them won on away courts. That's absolutely right. That's one thing. They both won on away courts, and the game ended on the same side of the court too. That's for those that don't know. It ended from the camera view, because I do production, on the right side of the court from where the camera's looking. They ended the same way. Not the same exact way, but they both ended on the right side of the court. But yeah, you guys don't got to think about that too much. Donald also says 4-1. Right? Both won 4-1 on each other's home court. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Right? All right. So I mean, y'all get it. You want to know what's so funny about the 4-1? Right? Or 1-4. Spurs lose 1-4, Knicks win 4-1, right? Same thing. Just switch it around. Right? There was something that took me less than 20 seconds to see. Y'all want to know what that is? You want to know what that is? Let me tell you how simple. You want to know how crazy this shit is with the whole 4-1, 1-4? I'm surprised nobody noticed it, but I'll say it. New York Knicks win by 4. San Antonio Spurs win by 1.
Are you fucking serious?
I repeat, when the New York Knicks beat the San Antonio Spurs to win the championship last night, the Knicks won by 4. San Antonio Spurs, they won by 1 once again. Y'all see that, right? And what did I tell you about what's the number that the NBA is dealing with this year? Before we get to that, 1999 and 2026, how many years is that? 27, right? 2 times 7 is what? That would be 14. 2 times 7 is what? 14. Been 27 years since the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs faced off. See, I don't need gematria for that. Because I'm so thorough with the 1-4 or the 4 and the 1. This is not new to me when it comes to that. The 4 and the 1 and the 1-4. I don't need all that extra gematria shit to make it seem like, oh, I know my no. The way this shit line up. You see what I'm saying? And here's another thing. What's the number that I told you guys about with that the NBA was going with all year? I'm gonna say it again too for those that didn't know. I put it was 94 to 90, right? You add that up, you get 184, right? Right? 184. 1 plus 8 plus 4 is 13, right? It gets interesting. It gets real interesting. 94 plus 90, 184. Add it up, you get 13. Now, what's the number? During football season, I hinted at the number, but I also said it in January officially for y'all. The number that you will see a lot this year in sports in general, right? It's another number. And you know what that is, right? Look at the San Antonio Spurs. 78 plus 77 when they beat the New York Knicks in 1999. You add that up, what you get? You get 155. Right? See, some shit is just simple. It's 155. If you add that up, 1 plus 5, you get what? You get 11.
Are you fucking serious?
13 and 11. None of this shit is by accident. None of this shit is by accident. That's what I'm saying. I don't need all that extra shit. None of that shit is by accident. 78 plus 77 is 155. 1 plus 5 is 11. Right? 94 plus 90. You add that up. I mean, 184. You add that up. And then if you add those numbers up, you get 13. 13 and 11. The two numbers I kept telling motherfuckers about this year. This fucking year. 27 years apart. 2 times 4, it will lead you back to the 1 and the 4, the 4 and the 1, however you see it fits. Good looks on that. Appreciate that. Everything's right in your face. That's why I said I never needed gematria. I don't need that. It's right in my face. They make sure the game ends in certain numbers. It has to end like that. It's right there in your face. These things don't happen by accident. I'm sorry. San Antonio, they just play around. They just play around with numbers with people too much. They play around with people too much. You know? Yeah. New York Knicks fans, they listen. New York Knicks fans listen. Last night, I saw people crying. Saw people celebrating. See, where I was at, none of the dumb shit was going on. Like, people's really like, you know, driving, honking the horns, boom, boom, boom. You know, New York, you know, people partying outside. There was no danger going on. None of that dumb shit. But it was heavy. Downtown Manhattan, it was heavy. It was that people was happy. All the dumb shit was going on over there and the other over there in 34th and all that other mess and shit like that. But people that they don't even watch basketball, you ask them questions, they won't know nothing. All the information you guys know, I bet you if you ask any of those dudes, they wouldn't know nothing. All those people that's doing all that fucking shit up and all that, if any single one of you guys in the chat ask them any questions about basketball or their knowledge, New York Knicks knowledge, I guarantee you 90% of them, and that's me being nice, 90% of them won't even know nothing that you guys is talking about. I guarantee you that. Because those are not the New York Knicks fans. They're not New York Knicks fans. They just want to tear something up. Now, I can imagine how the parade is going to be. The parade is Thursday. But it's going to be downtown. Well, if it ends downtown. I tell you this for sure. This is a fact. That's not going to be happening during the parade. It's not going to be happening during the parade. Especially traveling, because it's going to end here downtown, close by the mayor's office. That's not going to happen. I'm telling you this for sure. I mark my words. The police in New York City, right, is going to have a field day. They are going to love and wait for those dudes that act crazy down here. I guarantee you that is not going to happen over here. The NYPD cops down here they're gonna have a field day. They're probably gonna be rubbing their hands like, we gonna get the fuck some dudes up. It's not gonna happen downtown, bro. That's not gonna happen. They probably gonna do some shit somewhere else. That's not gonna happen here. But anyway, that parade is gonna be crazy. I'm talking about with fans. It's gonna be retarded. And that's another reason why. I told you guys this is not going to 7. There's no chance that this goes to 7 at all. They're not going to 7. This can't go to 7. No chance that they drag this out. This has to end now. You can't. First off, New York is already going what they're going through with the World Cup. And then you got these idiots trying to mess things up. You think they're gonna bring another game to Madison Square Garden? It's bad enough that these these other fake fans is messing things up even when the Knicks are not playing in the Garden. We gotta wrap this up. Wrap it up. That's what happened. And then once again, I don't know how many times I told people, June 13th, stop thinking so hard. June 13th, they're going to wrap this up. Now, I'm going to say this again. I did not think the game was going to be the way it was. No, did not. Right? To me, I actually thought the Knicks would be in the commanding lead and it'll stay like that. That's what I was thinking. I said they're going to win like that. But the way they won, you telling me they're going to have there was no way the Spurs can win, bro. They was going to let the Spurs win. There was no way they was going to let that happen. Mike Brown birthday on 5/3. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the 8s connecting. Look at all the 8s. Look at all the 8s. 53. 5 plus 3 equal 8. Once again, for anybody that's watching, I'm gonna summarize it for you. The reason why the New York Knicks won the NBA Finals is because Madison Square Garden was pushed to be moved because of Penn Station. And guess who saved Madison Square Garden from moving? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the main reason why the New York Knicks get to stay draw James. Let's say James Dolan, because he's the owner, right? James, and he owns Madison Square Garden, just like he owns the Knicks, right? James Dolan gets to stay put on 33rd Street between 7th and 8th. And Penn Station's going to move on with their construction, and Madison Square Garden will not be affected as far as moving. That is worth $8 billion. All right. So for those that's listening, now you know. Now you know. Now the city's destroying each other. That's not those. Like I said, those are not real fans though. Those are not New York Knicks fans that's doing that though. New York Knicks fans ain't doing that. New York Knicks fans is not the one destroying everything. Those is little YN young dudes looking for clout and things like that. New York Knicks fans are not doing that. I gotta let people know that, because I think people, they got it confused. New York Knicks fans is not the ones that's doing that at all, right? But like I was saying, for those that want to know, that's the reason why the New York Knicks won the championship. And I wanted to say it so bad on a post section, when people would comment, and I'm like, I can't say why. That's the reason why I made the post. After the Knicks win, then I'll say it. That's how confident I was, because, yeah, San Antonio, it was still official that San Antonio could have came back. There was no chance that they was coming back. And there was no chance that it was going to a 7. No, absolutely no chance that was going to happen, because they had to end this early because of the World Cup. If anybody would have hit me up personally, I could have told them that. It's the World Cup. It's gonna end. They're gonna focus on the World Cup. New York Knicks and Spurs is not. They're not gonna prolong this. Don't worry about it. Just take the freaking Knicks. They're gonna. Well, it depends on what you got your eyes at. But no, just in general, like, just take the Knicks from the beginning of when the finals was set. Just take the Knicks. Just take the Knicks. Even if you don't bet every game. And once again, it goes back to what I said. When the Knicks beat Cleveland, there was 2 scenarios. Knicks were underdogs against OKC, and Knicks were favored against the Spurs, right? But soon as the Spurs beat OKC, now all of a sudden the Spurs become minus 200 favorite, and the Knicks become underdogs. That makes no sense. How are they going to do a switch on you guys just like that? And nobody peeped that shit. Nobody peeped that. The New York Knicks was supposed to be favored against the San Antonio Spurs because they gave you the line. The books gave you the line before the Spurs eliminated OKC. The day before they eliminated OKC, they gave you the line. They said, if the finals, depending on who wins between the Spurs and OKC, this is going to be the official lines. Knicks was favored against San Antonio Spurs, but now San Antonio Spurs beats OKC, and now San Antonio Spurs is minus 200 favorites. That's not what you told us, though. The day before, that's not what you told us. What made it flip? Nobody was injured on the Knicks like that. Please don't say anything about your man Rip Mitchell. He's not gonna move the needle too much like that. Let's just keep it 100. So why are the Knicks underdogs? I said it's a dead giveaway, bro. They're playing y'all. I told my man that too. I said, because he was on San Antonio. I said, they playing you, bro. Don't take San Antonio. It's a trap. That was a trap. And as you guys know, I told you guys that from the beginning. As you know, you can go fact check that. I said, nobody peeped that. They was letting you know who was going to be favored on what. If it was the Knicks versus OKC, OKC was favored. Knicks was going to be favored against San Antonio Spurs. As soon as San Antonio Spurs beats OKC, now San Antonio Spurs is favored. I said, y'all about to get trapped. That's a big trap. So what you think I did? I'm taking the New York Knicks to win the NBA Finals. Knicks win game 1. What did I say? I said, expect the New York Knicks, even after they win the second game, they'll be favored. No. After they win that the first game, they'll be favored, but it won't. You know, you can get some depending on what you're trying to get it at. Because I know everybody likes it. You know, I think the Knicks was +1 something. I think it dropped down, but then after the second game, I think that's when they was -134, some shit like. Anyway, I don't feel like going and look for it in my notes. But that right there was the dead giveaway. So they're not gonna make the Spurs dogs and then pay them out as dogs. They're not doing that. That's not gonna happen, y'all. Dead giveaway. Hey, no one wants to listen. But hey, listen, people got the people that they listen to. That's fine. But you gotta look at things for what it is. It's not gonna happen like that. Yes, Trump was having a small watch party last night. Trump, let me tell you something. Trump is the reason for all of this. Trump is the reason for all of this. He's the reason why the New York Knicks won the NBA championship. He's going to make sure that 8 billion is put into Penn Station, and it also saves Madison Square Garden. You don't even have to touch Madison Square Garden. If you're going to do some fix-ups around Madison Square Garden, yeah, because I think they want to fix up the theater, because, you know, that's a big deal. They be having, that's where the draft be at. When they have, you know, anybody that been to Madison Square Garden, there's a theater connected to Madison Square Garden. It's real big. They have boxing events, a lot of draft. You know, the NBA loves using that theater. A lot of events, UFC be doing shit in there if they don't do something in the big part of the arena where you know, you play basketball, hockey, and shit like that. Sometimes they'll use that. Like the theater is a big part of, so I know that they're gonna also fix that up too. But now Madison Square Garden gets to stay where it's at. The New York Knicks don't have to move. James Dolan's a happy man. Donald Trump's a happy man, and that's just what it is. Nobody really understood what was going on here in New York. That's what it was about. That's the reason why the New York Knicks won a championship. Now you can justify why Madison Square Garden doesn't have to move, because the lawmakers wanted to move Madison Square Garden because they felt there was really no reason to keep them. You had to give them a real reason why Madison Square Garden had to stay, because it's going to affect the reconstruction of Penn Station. Give us a real reason why you have to stay. Boom. Let me tell you why. Knicks is going to win an NBA championship. Now Madison Square Garden value is up more than it was before. Because now everybody got to witness the New York Knicks win the championship. It's going to, and that brings extra money. I don't understand. That brings extra money. You see what I'm saying? Come on now. By the end of the month, people are going to forget all about the Knicks. It's one of those in the moment type of things. It is for let's just keep it 100. People's going to forget about basketball as a whole though. Because no matter who's the champion, it's always forgotten about. it, in a couple of months, in a month, nobody's gonna be talking about that, because now we're hitting summertime, right? And then everybody's gonna be getting ready for football. Let's just keep it real. Because September kicks off NFL. So in August, they're gonna be playing their preseason games, which people's gonna be interested in that. But then not only that, you got college football that's gonna kick off like towards like somewhere in the summer as well, like August or some shit like that. We're in June now. We're halfway through June. July's coming up. So everybody's going to be getting ready for football. So even if it didn't matter who won the NBA championship, even if the Spurs won, people will forget about it. Golden State Warriors, people forget about it. Every team that wins the championship, everybody's on to the next anyway. Now, I tell you who's not. My fault. I tell you who's not going to forget about it. As you guys know, the New York Knicks fans is not forgetting about that. You ain't never going to get any of these motherfuckers outside to shut up about the New York Knicks winning the championship.
Are you fucking serious?
And that, once again, brings me back to why the city said to James Dolan, justify why we keep Madison Square Garden right where it's at. Tell us why. Show us why. Easy. This is business. New York Knicks gonna win a championship. At least go at that. At worst, go to the NBA championship. And that's what. And I wanted to say it to certain people so bad when certain people was in the comments telling me, why would the Knicks win the championship? It's like I wanted to say this, but I'm like, damn, they just don't freaking know, man. Like, only if they knew why the New York Knicks is gonna win the championship. Only if y'all knew. Only if you knew. And man, only if you knew why. When it came to the Knicks, when the matchup was set, right? That's what I'm saying. When the matchup was officially set, Knicks and Spurs. There's no chance in hell of Spurs is winning the championship. That's what I kept saying. They're not going to win the championship. When they went up 2-0, I had to say, well, yeah, it ain't over. There's no way I thought that the Spurs was going to win that championship. No. But I have to officially say it's not over because it wasn't over. But the New York Knicks wasn't going to lose. Too much money invested. Any other team in the league right now, they don't got nothing on the New York Knicks when it comes to Madison Square Garden Arena. It's not. Penn Station and Madison Square Garden, you know how much money that shit is worth? It's not happening. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So, Yeti. Oh, my man, Yeti Life, he just came in. Okay, so if you just came in, I'm glad you just came in. So I could put you on. So, yes. Well, I actually said this 2 years ago. Anybody that was rocking with me back then, I told everybody, I put them on that they was going to move New York. They was going to move Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden was going to be moved. Right? If you don't believe me, right, I can show you. Yes, Madison Square Garden was going to be moved. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, we can get into it. And I can show you what I'm talking about. But yes, Yeti, I'm gonna show you just so you have a better understanding. Just so you don't think that I'm just saying things, because I don't want people to think I'm just saying things to be saying things. No, I have proof. Madison Square Garden. Well, I actually told people that was rocking with me 2 years ago they plan on moving Madison Square Garden. So it had to be justified. And guess who's responsible for the New York Knicks actually winning the championship? That'll be Donald Trump. But I'll let you hear it for yourself. And this is what I wanted to show you guys before the finals was over, but I couldn't give all this information out because motherfuckers ain't want to believe me. Everybody was sticking with Wemby. Oh yeah, Wemby's gonna win. There's no reason why he won't lose. Nah, Wemby's not gonna win, bro. There's no chance in hell he's gonna beat the New York Knicks. But let you hear it for yourself. Pay attention. Here it goes.
Trump administration has picked a design for Penn Station, and it will keep Madison Square Garden in place. The new plans include new cladding to give the garden a classical look, a grand entrance for the train hall on 8th Avenue, and also expanding track capacity. Today, the administration named a master developer team and also announced an additional $200 million investment to ensure the project is on track to break ground next year.
Want to hear that again? Listen to what she says. Listen to who names she says in the beginning.
Trump administration has picked a design for Penn Station, and it will keep Madison Square Garden in place. The new plans include new cladding to give the garden a classical look, a grand entrance for the train hall on 8th Avenue, and also expanding track capacity. Today, the administration named a master developer team and also announced an additional $200 million.
There you go. Now, I don't know if you guys heard the number, right? So let's go into the number 8. Let's go.
It's a big story because we are about to see some big changes at New York Penn Station. The Trump administration and Amtrak have come up with $8 billion, a plan to overhaul the station.
So while Madison Square Garden will stay.
You heard that? If you didn't hear it, maybe you should hear it again. I mean, if you didn't hear it, maybe I should rewind it so you get the number. Let's hear that again.
Have come up with $8 billion, a plan to overhaul the station.
So while Madison Square Garden will stay, a lot of other things will not. There will be a new grand entrance, new concourses, new shops, and it's going to have more rail capacity.
Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett with a closer look at the grand plans for Penn Station, including the Trump administration and how it's involved.
To the thousands of commuters flooding through Penn Station.
You heard that right? Now let me rewind it because I know you guys already heard it. So let's go to what this guy said.
And it is America's transportation hub.
Some riders tonight are skeptical.
I think there'll obviously be strings attached. It's going to be learned. It's going to be Trump Station, and attached. It's going to be learned. It's going to be Trump Station, and it's just another attached. It's going to be learned. It's going to be Trump Station, and it's.
Well, there you go. There you go. There you go. So for the most part, that's what it really is. So now you guys know the whole purpose of why Trump was at the game, why Trump has so much invested in this whole NBA finals and things of that nature. It's because he's the reason why the New York Knicks get to stay at Madison Square Garden. The lawmakers wanted to get rid of Madison Square Garden. And what I mean by get rid of it is they wanted to move Madison Square Garden. But this is information that I told people 2 years ago. If anybody was rocking with me back then, I'm telling you, usually I don't really like just saying things just to say it. Sometimes I tell people, just kind of trust the process of what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? I said this 2 years ago when I was covering the Knicks and the Pacers in a Eastern Semi. Like, oh, you may want to they gonna have the Knicks going some type of a run. But y'all know this one thing I can admit. I never would say the New York Knicks will win the championship. You guys know that. You can hold me to that. I never said that. I said, yo, the bus stops at championship. I will discuss New York Knicks winning the championship when they get there. You guys know I said it plenty of times. I would never want to say out the blue early and never make an early pick and say the New York Knicks was winning. The bus will always stop at they'll go to the championship. And then depending on what the matchup is and depending on what's going on, then I can say, yeah, I think this will be the time that they win the championship. So even though I knew that news about Madison Square Garden being moved, it was this matchup when I felt, yes, I can finally officially say the New York Knicks will win the NBA championship. That's why I always say it's bigger than the players. It's bigger than the players. Just like when Michael Jordan won the NBA championship and he three-peated twice. Yeah, he was the face, but it was bigger than him. It was about that new arena. You see what I'm saying? That's why they was able to three-peat twice. Shaq and Kobe, that new arena, Staples Center. That's why they had the success they had. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, new arena. That's why they started them off a little early before they had moved, a couple years early. And sure enough, look what happened. It's all about the business. The players is just the face. The players are just the pawns. You don't need gematria for that. This is business. It's right in front of your face. Now, I do understand it's boring. That's the boring part. But hey, that's the type of shit that I like. Right? Now, I'll say this. Every single team in every single city is going to have something business-wise going on with them. So it's still hard to decipher like who you think is going to go to a championship. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I do know that. But Madison Square Garden, y'all. Madison Square Garden, it's a big deal. Penn Station, which affects the country a lot. With connections, right? Train connections, right? Long Island Railroad's really just dealing with Long Island and coming into the city. But when you take an Amtrak, you connect because you have to connect from one train to get to this train and to get to this train and finish in Penn Station. Penn Station is one of the main hubs of this country when it comes to Amtrak. That's a lot of fucking money, y'all. You don't understand. There was no way the Knicks wasn't going to win that. There was no way Wemby was just going to win. There's a lot of money involved. A lot. And that's what I want people to understand when they kind of make the picks that they do. You know? Do I think the Knicks is going back to back? It's too early for me. It's too early for that conversation. I ain't gonna lie. It's too early for that conversation. because we still have to expect some bad things to happen to some players and things like that. It is what it is. I said it. Come on now, let's be for real. It is what it is, right? So I just want you guys to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my guys in the chat. You guys been excellent with your things you've been talking about in the chat. Everybody else is watching. Shout out to you. I just wanted to really give y'all the play on what's going on. Now, if y'all do speak to other people and y'all say these things, please let them know where it came from and swing them back this way, just so they know. I'm only saying that because there's a lot. If you guys go on YouTube, maybe on later on today, or go on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, and you hearing more about the NBA Finals, nobody's gonna be talking about this. Nobody's gonna be talking about this. And you know what? You don't even have to tell them all this. As a matter of fact, you don't gotta tell them. You can just tell them, yo, New York Knicks won a championship for a reason. You may want to watch this link. That's the reason why. There's no other reason why the New York Knicks won the championship. And I was waiting. I was sitting on this until after the New York Knicks won the championship. I wanted to see if they was going to win the championship too when I had all this information, right? After they beat I had information for a long time. I'm just summarizing everything because once again, I told you guys this 2 years ago, right? But I'm not trying to talk your heads off with a whole bunch of shit from the whole 2 years. Just summarizing what the whole deal was. One of the reasons why Trump was at game 3 and not game 4, right? Won the game 3, it's a big deal. The whole thing with the threes. Yeah, and the Knicks, and that's the only game that the Knicks lost to, by the way, right? And I told people about the whole thing with the 19. Somebody did ask me, "Oh, what's the big deal with 19?" Well, the Knicks 19 wins. Right? Kentucky Derby told us everything. Even though that was a hard one. That was a hard one to really get. But yeah, Kentucky Derby let us know everything we needed to know. New York Knicks, number 19 horse wins. New York. That's another breakdown I have for y'all. Because I actually want to do a breakdown with the whole Kentucky Derby with each horse for the last couple years. So then all those notes is not in front of me right now. So I'm not going to sit there and do that for you guys right now. But now that the New York Knicks had won, that I can add that to the archives when I do my Kentucky Derby breakdown. But these are things that people have to pay attention to. Not just these players are just the pawns. They're just the pawns. So Shea was able to win his first time. Joker was able to win his first time, but the player they pushed for 4 years, they don't allow to win. Absolutely, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. If I'm pushing you, once again, it's like I said maybe an hour ago. Whenever they push somebody, you stay away from that. It's called bait and switch. And that was going to be the topic of the that was going to actually this was supposed to be the title of this live, bait and switch. I was ready. I had that in the chamber, but I changed it after the New York Knicks finished it off. But yeah, it's the classic bait and switch. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people do fall for that. The player who we push, he's not going to win a championship. You know how much money the books can be liable for losing if it was to just be that way all the time? It can't be that way all the time. It can't be that way all the time. It's called bait and switch. I'm going to make you think that such and such player is going to win, and we just going to pull that curtain. He's not winning. And like I said earlier, I'm going to tell you this now. Wemby's not going to be the face. He's not going to be the face. Do I think he'll win a championship? I don't know. As we have these conversations in the near future, then you'll probably hear what I say. If you ever hear me say Wemby will win a championship, that's because I'm unbiased. You guys know that. You guys know I give Patrick Mahomes a lot of slack, right? You guys, no, I don't cut him no slack. Yeah. I don't cut him no slack. I go hard on Patrick Mahomes. You guys know that. But best believe all the championships, no, not all of them. When he beat the 49ers the first time, when he beat the Eagles the first time, right? I was on Patrick Mahomes to win. Business wise, if I have to choose Wemby, I'll choose Wemby. I'm listen, I don't have no favorites. I don't have no favorites. So when I'm speaking, it's from an unbiased take. And what I gotta say about Wemby is he's not gonna be the face. I don't see him being the face. Once again, he's not from America. He plays in an American league. I've never heard of that. Never saw that. Once again, when it's Olympic time, if you are the face of a league, you're supposed to represent said league when it comes to the Olympics. You have to represent said league, and that's not my opinion, that's a fact. You have to represent said league in the Olympics if you are the face. I dare somebody to argue with me about that. No commercials for the Spurs. Oh, that's another thing. Exactly. Exactly. Luca will get a ring. LA always is in the mix. We gotta see what they got. We gotta see what they got in store for LA. We gotta see what they have in store for LA. Much as I don't even really like Luca's game, if I have to rock with him, I have to. I have to. So we'll see what they're doing to justify them getting a ring. We don't know if they will return to the finals, right? But I always tell people that because you keep hearing them say, "Oh, Luke, Wemby's 22, he'll make it to the finals again, or he'll be the face." You saw how they kept pushing that, right? And I'm like, what makes you think that? Assuming all this is real, what makes you think that they're just gonna make it? Based on what? How do you know they're gonna make it back? You know what I'm saying? So we got to see. But me personally, I don't. The success that people think, just me, I don't see it. As far as the face, no, he will be one of he could be one of the guys that they promote. You know what I'm saying? Like how they did Giannis, how they did Joker. You know what I mean? Just to name a few, right? But face, nah, Wemby ain't no face in no league, bro. Even the fact that they keep saying it was a dead giveaway. And then also, you guys know, you guys already know, faces of the league never have the number one, bro. They don't never have the number one. Faces of the league is always going to have something dealing with the six. Some way, somehow, you got to connect six to it. That's how it always goes for some reason, and that's how I think it's going to stay. Wemby being number one, I don't see that. I don't see that. Fuck around and he going to end up being one of the guys that you thought was going to be the face, and he has the number one, and he ends up being a flop because he has freaking injury problems. Anthony Hardaway. You know what I'm saying? Tracy McGrady. You know what I'm saying? Just to name a few. We don't have to go on a whole tangent, but like those number one guys, those guys who get number one, I've always said to myself, right? Ever since I saw after Tracy McGrady, no, I think after Stoudemire, Amari Stoudemire. Not saying he was gonna be the face, but I learned I never trust NBA players with the number one because chances are them motherfuckers is gonna be injury prone. Just is what it is. For some reason, players who's always number one that we have high expectation about, they always end up injured. Some way, somehow. They always end up injured. And then for Wemby to be the face, right? You 22 years old. You should be playing damn near 45, 44 minutes a game. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but you guys know what I mean. At least 42 minutes a game if you're not in foul trouble. Why is Wemby having minute restrictions at 22? Everybody keeps saying, yeah, he's 22. He's young. He still got to learn. Yeah, but you 22. Why are you having minute restrictions? LeBron James is somebody that should be on minute restrictions. Why is Wemby not playing? He should be playing a lot. They put that man on the bench quite a lot, son. You 22. 22. And then I don't see the Spurs, like I said, I don't see the Spurs just overtaking what the Warriors did. Or I would like to see them. I want to see if they pass the Chicago Bulls, even though the Chicago Bulls is 6-0. I want to see if they pass it because now they're 5-2, which means that the which is funny. 2025 year they end up 5-2, right? But yeah, you do know if the Spurs win one more, now they're tied with the Chicago Bulls. So it's like Michael is everything that Michael Jordan did coming to an end because if everybody's putting Wemby like up here, all Wemby needs to do is win 2 championships for the Spurs, and he has more than Michael Jordan. Are you guys thinking about these things when you talk? Like does anybody understand that when they like say these things? If the NBA knows you're not winning, why push you? That's easy. If I was the NBA, I would do the same thing. Money. I keep trying to tell people the most important thing is money. It's all about money. That's the reason why I tell people pay attention to leagues having partnerships with sports books. All I got to do is push said player. And you know what the general public is going to do? They're going to go out and bet such player. All the money's going to go there. And guess what? That player's not going to win. The sports books make a ton of money because the NBA, which they have a partnership with, made sure that they did not lose their money. I'm going to take care of you, you take care of me. That's the reason why I never believe when they push something the way they do. They overly say Wemby's the face too much. They say it too much. They overly say it. Just go on TV. It's just Wemby. Yeah, he's gonna be the face. Yeah. He's gonna win some rings. Yeah. He's gonna. Sorry, y'all. Why do they gotta keep saying it? Put your money where your mouth is. You don't gotta keep. You don't have to keep saying it because if you keep saying it now, we have to look at the NBA with a side eye. Is this real? Because how do you know he's gonna win? You're telling us he's gonna win based on what? How do you know he's gonna win? We don't know what's gonna happen. You can't say it unless you know for a guarantee that okay, it's pushed for him to win. You see what I'm saying? Derrick Rose also had number one. God damn, McNair, you see that? Number one to injury prone. So you guys see what I'm saying, right? I can go down the list with a lot of players. I just thought about the reason why I said Anthony Hardaway and Tracy McGrady because I had high hopes for them. That's the reason why, right? But you know, you guys added some other people. But you see what I'm saying now, right? So I'm not bugging. A lot of those guys be injury prone when you got number one. I think Wemby will be somebody that will be. He's gonna have injury problems. I think Wemby's gonna have injury problems. Do I think that will the NBA ever have Joel Embiid ever reach the conference finals or is it over for him? Um, did he just sign a big contract with Philly or something? Because I was gonna say maybe if he leaves Philly, but then again, it's not like you're saying that Philly's gonna go to the championship. You're just saying for them to go to the conference finals, right? But I think his time is about to be up with that. That's how I feel. You've been on there for a while now, and you can't go that far. At least, even if you don't win a championship, you can at least go to the conference championship. I don't see. Sometimes you can look at a pattern and be like, this play is just going to be stagnant here. There's going to be no room for growth. He's here, and that makes him a gatekeeper. Hell, even Aunt Edwards was saying Wemby is in fact the face of the league. when he won MVP of the All-Star game. They overly doing it. That's what I'm saying. Like, they overly talking about it. Why do you got to keep saying? You don't got to keep saying that unless, okay, if it does happen, then I'm gonna tell all you guys now. Listen, we're gonna have that live when that season come, when we have that feeling. I'm gonna say, yo, just take fucking Spurs. They're gonna win that championship. But for right now, we can't have that conversation. We can't, because it's overly pushed. It's overly pushed. It's overly pushed. And you see how it is now. People's already asking questions. What is he gonna do? That's why I said it's not good for him to win a championship now, because the expectation will be for Wemby to win the championship every single year. That's bad. All Carmelo teams, yes, I read about that. All Carmelo teams, won the championship or had success, yeah. Except for the Blazers and the Rockets. That's crazy. But everybody else, yes, Lakers, Denver, OKC, the Knicks. I think Carmelo Anthony, like, they'll try to keep him up there, but he's slowly getting erased. Even out of Denver, I think it's already a wrap. Jokic, number 15, I think he got that spot now. The New York Knicks was able to win the championship after the Carmelo era. You know, yeah. Him with the Lakers, him with OKC. Yeah, it's almost a wrap. No disrespect to him, but yeah, it's a wrap for that. So you guys get what I'm saying when I speak about why the New York Knicks won the championship, right? So that's the exact reason why the New York Knicks won the championship. I just want to get that through your heads and remember that. Always remember that. Remember where you heard it. New York Knicks won the championship because Madison Square Garden, which I told you 2 years ago. I said it here on the live. I also said it on Lobo Show 2 years ago. They was thinking about moving Madison Square Garden. Matter of fact, they was gonna move Madison Square Garden, but we see what's going on now. Now Madison Square Garden gets to stay. New York Knicks win the championship. It's justified why Madison Square Garden can stay, and then everybody that are Knicks fans or supporters can thank Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is making sure $8 billion is put behind Penn Station's reconstruction, and Madison Square Garden won't be affected at all. There you go. I was gonna say Lakers didn't win after Carmelo. The Lakers won before Carmelo. They won before Carmelo. Carmelo came after, basically after the COVID time. Unless you just saying, unless he means troll, unless he means all the teams that Carmelo played for won a championship, and he was never on any of those rosters, whether it was before or after. Maybe, I mean, if that, maybe I'm helping him, but maybe that's what it is. But other than that, you know. So yeah, that's the reason why the New York Knicks won the championship. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Anybody that just came in, though, because I said a lot of shit. I want you guys to, and I got straight to the point. I want you guys to look at those videos that's in the chat. I mean, not in the chat. That's in this live. Right? There was something else I wanted to show you guys too. Something dealing with Wemby. Man. Hope y'all doing good on this Sunday too. Oh yeah, this was funny. Now, y'all probably gonna say
it took Michael.
I'm looking too much into this, but no. I pay attention to words. Maybe it may not mean nothing. Maybe it may not be a big deal, but I found this pretty interesting. Let's play it.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. Victor, you study the game. You understand the history. It took Michael 7 years. It took LeBron 9. It took Jerry West 12 years to be a champion. Not even the greatest ever. It's not immediate. How difficult is that to accept when you pour so much of yourself into this, that there is a process to get to where you want to go?
It's painful, it's painful. But I'm not running away from that. but I'm using that to fuel me. I'm sure all these guys you named, they're not satisfied with being eliminated in earlier rounds or not making the playoffs. And I'm not satisfied with not winning. But as I said, this is the biggest lesson of my life. And as a team, there's no better experience.
In Gotham.
Tim Reynolds with the AP.
No, it wasn't that one. But yeah, y'all heard what he said though. Y'all heard what he said, right? They keep bringing up LeBron and Jordan and shit like that. But no, it's another part when he gets up, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? When he gets up, he sounded all mad and shit like that. Oh yeah. This one.
Never.
This was funny. I don't know. I find this to be suspect. Why would
Appreciate
you
y'all.
say that?
See y'all. Never. Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Never. Appreciate y'all.
I see y'all. Never.
Never. Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Never.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I see y'all never. I see y'all never. Now, I'm not gonna look too much into that. Looks a little bit too suspect for me. What does he mean that he never gets back to this position again? As far as making the NBA finals? Is when we playing in the NBA going to be short lived? That's not what I'm saying, but is it going to be short lived? What you mean never? And real fast like that and got up. This is the stage, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a stage, and I need y'all to understand that. I need y'all to understand. Shit is crazy, bro. You gotta love the NBA. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Y'all was kicking some knowledge today in the chat. I see y'all. This was a good one. Anybody that's gonna watch the playback too, y'all gonna have 2 hours and a half of shit to enjoy. Why I break down why the New York Knicks won the championship, and this was I just summarized it for y'all. But this was information for 2 years that I've been sitting on. I just gave y'all just the updated shit about it. Anybody that was rocking with me 2 years ago, you do know I spoke about this. This is not new news about the whole New York Knicks move in Madison Square Garden and expect some type of a run to go on. And it's funny too because even 2 years ago, I'm going to find a live when I actually spoke about it because one thing I do remember mentioning is the World Cup being in New York as well. And it's funny how all of this played out. The New York Knicks won the championship. I'm going to find the exact live because it wasn't titled that. I just spoke about it in a live. So I got to go back to the old lives, and that's the sucky part. I hate that shit, right? I will have to go back to that and find it, but I'm going to find it for y'all. And it finally happened, though. It finally happened. The New York Knicks was a build-up. Am I going to the Am I going to any of the World Cups? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. No. Only time if I was doing some production work or some shit like that, yeah. But going there, I don't deal with all that mess, bro. That shit is too much. Man, that shit is too much, man. Am I going live? Am I going live for the fight? Oh, y'all, which fight? You talking about? It's boxing today, right? Hold on.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all. Never. What are you talking about? I'll check it right now. Let me know what you're talking about, Reaper. You talking about boxing, right? Tonight? Oh, they got the World Cup going on right now. But UFC, there's no UFC today. Yeah, Lorenzo. So you remember? I remember hearing about them. Oh, maybe you heard it somewhere else, right? But yeah, them moving Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I told you. Yeah. What you call it today, right? UFC today, right? UFC tonight, right? Your man, Ella, Ella Tapora and Justin Gaethje. That's today, right? Hold on. Somebody let me know. I know I ain't tripping. Yeah, it is today. Yeah, June 14th. What am I talking about? And then yeah, I remember Lobo. Lobo had mentioned earlier in the stream when he came in about UFC 250, how that can cause a lot of traffic. That's a lot of traffic. You got to think about it. If the Knicks did lose last night, you got a whole bunch of traveling going on there back into the city or whatever the case is, right? And then you got the World Cup, and then like Lowe said, you have the UFC at the White House. That's a lot of traffic because that's still traveling. If I'm going to Washington D.C., I still gotta go through. I can go through another tunnel, but if I'm going through the Lincoln Tunnel as well, you see what I'm saying? Like, and then I'm heading. That can nah. This shit had to end. There was no way that it was going to 6 or even 7. Definitely not 7. It had to end. It had to end. So yep, there you go. Yeah. So I can relax. I'm gonna eat me some crabs, some blue crabs. And you think upset tonight repeat? Oh man, wait, hold on. Let me see what Ricky said. He said Nick fans are going to be the only people to remember as winning the fake and phony championship, while everybody else is going to pay attention to football season now, and it's summertime. That's what I said a couple of minutes ago. New York Knicks fans, you ain't going. Come on now. You got a better chance of hitting the lottery twice before you hear New York Knicks fans shut up about that shit. They ain't never gonna shut up. They ain't never gonna shut up. You gotta understand, bro. Last night, that's the reason why I couldn't go live with y'all. These people, yo. But the passion, I would probably say this city got the best fans. I ain't gonna lie to you, they do because, bro, bro, those people take that shit serious. Like you couldn't tell them nothing. I got video. I should have uploaded it, but can't tell them nothing. They was going hard, bro. Hard. He said my tummy is still hurting, B. Why? Why? You just couldn't you sick to your I think you said you were sick to your stomach, right? I mean, it is what it is though. It hey listen, in your case, as long as they don't win back to back for you, he's 3 plus 72. Yeah. You know what's so crazy? I was worrying about this NBA final so much that I thought UFC was next week, and you know UFC is my thing, and I paid it no attention. That's crazy. So yeah, back to doing my studying after this live for that. Oh, I can't wait for that. Yeah, what Lorenzo said. Did y'all peep how ESPN promoted French Montana record with the Uptown Saturday Night theme song? How ironic that the Knicks win the championship on Saturday night. Um, you know these things are pre-recorded, right? They pre-recorded. As somebody that does production that really knows about what goes on with that. That's another reason why when I got into the dark side of sports, I try to tell people certain things, they ain't want to listen. A lot of these things are pre-recorded because it has to be ready to go. Soon as somebody wins a championship, and not just New York, everywhere else too. Soon as a team wins a championship, play that commercial or play that advertisement. It's already ready to go. Now some people say, well, yeah, they record for both people. Yeah, but when it comes to certain things like that, Saturday Night Live and shit like that, they already got it to go. This is a certain team that's gonna win. We're gonna promote it. Now that's one thing I know for a fact that I'm not even gonna argue with nobody because that's actually the type of stuff that let me just shut up. It's almost NFL time. Yeah. Is it just me or the NBA championship is worthless now? Back in the day, it felt like feel like it meant more. Now it feels like Cody Rhodes WWE Championship. You want to know why you guys feel the way you feel? Is because the last couple of years we've seen different champions. We've seen Bucks, we've seen OKC, we've seen Knicks, we see Denver, we've seen we just seen Lakers in 2020, right? We've seen too many Warriors in 2022. We've seen too. It's not consistent, right? The last time we got some consistency was LeBron and the Cavaliers versus Steph Curry and you know and the Warriors. That was the last time there was like some type of consistency. Other than that, it's like different, and you guys can't even really like nobody. Whether you guys think it's real or fake, right? You guys can't even really get with anybody because it's hopping around a little bit too much. It's doing the hopscotch. It's doing too much. So yeah, I get what you're saying. But I keep trying to tell y'all, you got to understand sports betting is bigger than ever. You got to understand it ain't going to be like that. It ain't going to be a lot of consistency like that. We're not going to really see that no more. Well, for a while, you ain't going to see that because let me tell you something. Me and you guys in the chat and anybody else that's not in the chat that's watching can easily take advantage of that shit. Once we see that type of pattern happen again, you should know to take advantage of it. I don't think they're gonna risk, and that's the books. The books and the leagues is not gonna risk that, yo. They're not. We'll get some back to backs, of course. We get the Dodgers went back to back, but Dodgers winning 3, 4, 5 just because they got Ohtani and shit like that. That's not gonna happen. So we are living in a parity era. This new team, this new team, this new team. That's why I tell people it's kind of hard to have somebody be the face when shit is just all over the place. Ooh, that's a ball. It's kind of hard to have a face when everything's all over the place. Ooh, I'm gonna write that. Hold on. It's hard to have a face when everything is all over the place. And I just came up with that shit just now, in real time. It's hard to have a face when everything's all over the place. Oh, it's hard to have a face when everything is all over the place. Ooh. 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 It's hard to have a face when everything's all over the place. Ooh. That's a bar. So anyway, yeah. Do I get my NFL itch? Of course. Actually, things can be certified to change and all that. I'm talking too much. We gotta wait till when is that time to talk about football, which that should be very soon. Very soon. Yeah, it's time to talk about that shit. Wow. My notes is already clipped up, ready to go, actually. But there's gonna be some new news happening. It's the summertime. You know how it is with the NFL. Where do I see Giannis landing? To me, still, I saw this. I like that you said that. He said "Be Fire Records." Briefly, yeah, I can speak on this. Did you guys see this? I don't want to put too much onto this, but y'all guys saw this? Giannis, you see it right here? I'll read it for you. It says the Boston Celtics officially made a trade offer for Giannis this past week. I think Boston's going to get Giannis, and I think it will happen in the next week. This is per Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons, a reporter, right? So he thinks that Boston is going to get Giannis. Boston is going to get Giannis. That's what he thinks, that Boston is going to get Giannis, right? The Mets are up 4-1 over the Braves. Shout out to reserve for that one. That's crazy. Lorenzo say, yeah, that's a bar. So no need to be asking who's the face of the league when everything's all over the place. Woo! Yes, that's fire. And I got my shit written down in my notes. So yeah, Giannis going to the Boston Celtics. For me, I'm gonna have fun fading them. So you gonna steal that ball? So you gonna steal my ball? I'm going to have fun fading them. Steph Curry was the last person who owned the league. I'm stealing that line. Kobe 41. Yeah, that whole Kobe shit. That whole Kobe shit. 41. And don't worry, guys. I ain't forget about that whole Kobe live. I sure didn't. I'm collecting more new information. That's why it's kind of hard to do that Kobe live when I'm getting new information too. Giannis might end up in Miami. If he doesn't end up in Boston, I already told y'all. I'm still sticking with it. I don't want to change it, right? Just because, like, I'm not too invested in Giannis, right? But to me, what makes sense, right? If this is how I see it. If it's not set for the New York Knicks to go back to back, let's say this. Let me just say this. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying it's a for sure thing, but I've been thinking about this for a while. Me at least over a year for when it came to Giannis. This is just how I see it. And now that the Knicks officially won the NBA championship, this is how I'm looking at it. If it's not set for New York Knicks to win next year, right? If it's not, it would make more sense though if you bring Giannis. I'm still sticking with my prediction. If you bring Giannis over to the Nets, like I've been saying a while ago. Do they lose out the Stanley Cup tonight? You talking about Vegas, right? Because Vegas is down, right? What they down 3-1, right? So do they close it out? Well, like I said, people, the World Cup was taking over right now. So, Mr. Jackson, I'll tell you this much. Well, you actually usually see me in a post section. Before the game, I'm gonna see something. And then I'll say how I feel about that. But just know World Cup is a big deal, Mr. Jackson. I better copyright that. I am man. That's why I wrote it down. And the good part is you guys officially heard it. So you do know that can also back your claims, right? And this is on live, so that's the good thing. Cowboys drought won't end. I don't want to say how I feel about the Cowboys on here because it actually deals with death. So and I don't really like I don't think the Cowboys win it. I'ma shut up. I saw an article that the Magic are looking to get Giannis. Yes, I heard that too. Actually, I heard that too. I did. I did. I won't be surprised if he does end up an Orlando Magic, though. I won't be surprised if he ends up on Orlando Magic. I think Orlando Magic more than Miami, to be honest with you. When I heard that, I say I'd rather see him. I can see him as a Magic more than a Miami Heat. That's just me. But my first team obviously is the Nets because if it's not playing for the Knicks to go back to back, it still will bring a lot of attention to New York. If you have Giannis go right there to Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? And you got the New York Knicks over here in Manhattan. It still makes things exciting. I said that a year ago or so, right? A little bit over a year. I'm still sticking with that. So my first choice is still Giannis to the Nets, but I can see him as a Magic too, if anything. If he ends up a Celtic, fine. I mean, fine, fine. I mean, I never thought about him being a Celtic, but hey, it is what it is. The next night, the Knights had won the Stanley Cup. Both teams was against Miami. Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one. In 2003, when the Nuggets won the championship, the next night. So we gonna see what happens again. You can't see the Lakers paying him. Me too. Me too, Nolo. I can't see that. I can't. That's just me. That's just me. I can't see it. And then you got to see what's going on with LeBron, right? Because officially, like LeBron didn't retire yet. So come on, we got to see what happens in the summer. I mean, does LeBron go back to Cleveland? So I think we're speaking too fast when it comes to Giannis. with the Lakers, because we still got to see what happens with him, with your man Braun. We already know Luke is there, so repeat Green Bay versus Pitt this year. I got you for football. Don't worry. And there was something else you guys made me fucking forget. In 2003, when the Nuggets won the championship, the next night. Oh yes, that's what I meant to say. And I can officially tell you, not this is what I've been thought, but now I can say it for you guys. Just because we get the year or something does not mean. No, I don't think Giannis goes to OKC. Somebody said that too. One of my coworkers said that. Me, I don't think so. I'm sticking with the Nets. I don't want to change it. I'm gonna stick with the Nets. And then the Magic. When I heard about that, I could see that as I'll put that as my second option. Yeah, not my first. I'm still stick with the Nets. I've been saying it for so long. I'm gonna just stay with it. Right? It'll be good for New York. Just because we have a year or something doesn't mean every team is just gonna win. For instance, on the top of the year, the Broncos faced off against the Patriots in January for the AFC Championship, right? Year of the horse, horse, right? But they didn't win, right? The Spurs just now, they got eliminated. You already know a spur, a horse, right? Spurs didn't win. Golden Knights, what do Knights ride? You can go look that up. Knights ride horses. They ain't looking too good right now. We got to see what happens, but they ain't looking too good. So I just want you guys to know, just because it's the year or something, doesn't necessarily mean said team that represents said animal is gonna win a championship. So I'm letting you guys know that now. I don't think Giannis goes to OKC. He doesn't want to go out to the West. I don't think he goes out to the West. Nope. Yeah, year of the Tiger. The Bengals lose. That's what I'm saying. Like, just know that. Just note that. But I can understand why people may feel that way. But when it's the year of something, doesn't mean that. Just like a ram is closest to a goat or something, right? Right? They're closest to each other. Now the Super Bowl is going to be where? Where the Rams play. 2027 is the year of the goat. I find it funny that they're back at SoFi that quick. Again, hey, doesn't mean that the Rams are gonna win the Super Bowl. So, So this was a great live. Yo, shout out to every single one of y'all. Any new subscribers too, fuck with it. We had a great conversation. Then we did the 2 hour and 48 mark. This was a good live. So now you guys officially know why the New York Knicks won the NBA championship. Now you know I finally got to tell you guys why they won the championship. Shit. 250 tonight. Ooh, yes, I got something. Matter of fact, when does it kick off? I'm talking about the prelims, though. When the prelims start? Come on, when are the prelims? That's 250. Or there's no. It officially starts at 8 o'clock tonight. It officially starts at 8 o'clock tonight. All right, so fine, whatever. It's 2 something, right? But this was a good ass live. Yeah, I'm fading the Rams. Yeah, yep. And I hope Donald comes back too. I actually do hope he come back. Come back in the middle of the season or something like that. That's gonna be the best fade of my life. I know for sure. I'm telling you guys that now. All right, you know what? I'm gonna say this early. If Donald comes back, there's no chance, absolutely no chance that they win the championship. No chance that they win the championship. There, I said it. The Rams will not win the championship if Donald comes back. Aaron Donald comes back. I don't care what their squad is like. They're not. That's an easy fade, and that's some easy money for y'all. And don't lose on that. But y'all already know. Check me out. Now that NBA's done, we start to transition into, football and also college football and all that shit. So we're gonna see what's up with that, right? We're gonna see what UFC is looking like tonight. Maybe if I'm feeling good and shit, right? Yeah, Ricky's not getting off of them. He not getting off of the Bears. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown. I can see Jaylen Brown going to the West though. I can see Jaylen Brown going to the West. He's definitely not staying the Celtic. He's not staying. He's not going to be no Celtic. Yeah, come on. I want Donald to come back. Just come back, Donald. You got one more in you. Please come back. So all of y'all in the chat can make some money. Everybody else can make some money. Donald, please come back. Please come back. I believe that you will come back. Maybe you'll make the announcement before the season starts, or maybe you'll come back during the middle of the season or some shit like that. But Aaron Donald, please come back so I can fade the shit out of you. There's no chance that y'all gonna do that shit again. There's no chance. We just gonna have to wait and see. Do they got something planned? Let's see if they got something planned, but I don't see it. I would love that fade. So here we go. Is it rigged? Is it scripted? Is it fixed? I don't know. You tell me. Shout out to every single one of y'all. The Knicks did it. He said the Niners is going to the Super Bowl.
Are you fucking serious?
Damn.